What do you mean? Like, yeah, I mean, we're blowing the load a little bit by it not being on stream, but yeah, it's uh uh like I think they oh, they can hear me on the stream, by the way. Yeah. I mean,
Okay, now it works. Classic. All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you guys all so much for stopping by. As always, I'm Eli with Pokémon USA. Today, we're going to be having a special guest, Mason with Cardinal Gaming. So
hello.
Good to see him as always. So hopefully you guys enjoy the stream and the content. We're just gonna kind of discuss whatever. Like, honestly, I didn't really have a topic. I just was like, hey Mason, you want to just come on, like, just kind of shoot the crap and just, you know, hang out and let's just discuss whatever we got to discuss. So here we are.
I mean, we don't really have anything to talk about. We don't. There's nothing groundbreaking that we just found out or anything. So it's probably fine. It's whatever anybody else wants to talk about. It's all fine.
But before we jump into it, as always, we do weekly giveaways. All you gotta do to enter, leave a like, comment down below, and subscribe. Aside of that, make sure to check the links down in the description below if you want to be a part of the community or stay up to date on all of our socials. But let's give a couple.
What should the comment be about?
What should the comment be about? See,
you don't have like a little prompt for people to like engage with.
What do you hate the most about me? No, I'm kidding.
Jesus.
What do you love the most about Mason? That's a prompt.
Oh, jeez, even worse. Even worse.
Whoa!
You're
what
asking
do you mean even worse? What are you talking about? Come on. All right, what should be the prompt? I think that's it, man. What do you love the most about Mason? That's it right there. What have you or it's just to make it less cheesy, right? What has been the most insightful thing that you've learned?
Ooh, I like this. That's cute.
There you go. What's the most insightful thing you've learned? And it can be from either of us, just so that Mason feels less weirded out about it.
I mean, I don't feel weird. I'm just trying to look out for you. But yeah.
Dude, I already get flamed enough. It's all good. It's so funny. I always say that. I'm like, man, I already get flamed enough. But it's like, I really don't ever get flamed. I just so happen to look at like the 50 nice comments and I disregard them for the 3 mean comments because they just affect you differently. And you're like, why is it that that's like the thing that gets to you and all the other 51s? Oh, thanks. So you're the blah, 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 blah. And those 3 are like, mother.
Yeah, it's always the, and they're always like, there'll be a mean comment and they'll have like 2 thumbs up. And you're like, who? Who agrees with that? I'm just too afraid. Cowards, all of them.
I feel like for me, it's one thing if you're like, it's one thing if you disagree with me. It's another if you, I feel like blatantly didn't watch the video and just read the title and then comment about something that was explained for like 5 minutes. And I'll be like, all right, guys, just letting you know, this is not like, this is what I'm saying. I'm not saying this one thing. And then they're like, you're saying this one thing, aren't you? That's so dumb that you would say that. I'm like, I literally went for 5 minutes on saying this is not what I'm saying. Like, oh my God, average player brings up a fantastic point. Where's the tinfoil hat dude? What the frick?
Oh, I forgot. I didn't. I'm sorry.
Oh my God, what a blunder.
Look, that's because we're not going to do any conspiracies today.
We aren't?
This is completely fact. This is all going to be completely.
Oh, good point. This is all
100%
fact.
Real. If anything, I should have brought the lab coat because then we'd be talking numbers and the real-ish. Is what we'd be talking about today. That's the.
So if we're talking about facts, I have news. Hidden Fates reprint confirmed, 100% coming. You heard it here first. I was, actually, I was talking to my psychic today, most recently. She told me this. I was having visions for a while, and, she just told me that the reason for it was that there was gonna be something that was gonna come to fruition soon, and I had a dream last night that I could go into Target and buy thousands of Hidden Fates tins, and I was like, that's it, that's the answer, they're coming.
Huh. Okay.
Confirmed. No, not a fan.
Anyway, what's the chat doing? What are we doing? Oh.
Mason out here just disregarding. Mason, how's taxes going? Dang, why are we asking these questions?
Terrible. Thank you, Poké Department Store. Nice of you to
bring it up.
Bring that up. Appreciate you. Always good. Talking about taxes, my favorite things.
Tax needs to be discussed with a tax professional. Okay, well, we're here for it. Checks out. Pokey tax. Oh, it's Pokey Texas. I was about to just say.
What if it was Poké Taxes?
That would be funny. I don't know why department store hasn't changed his name to that. Probably it's because he's too much of a shill. No, I'm just... Got him. Called out. Oh. Well, I guess if there is something to converse, we can have a conversation about the topic of the video, which is Mason. Is it true? Did you hear? I heard Pokemon might be dying. At least that's what the thumbnail of Eli's most recent video said.
Yeah,
true?
I was wondering why you went with that for a title, because the actual content of that video was so much more interesting than the actual clickbaitiness of it. But that's fine. Is it dying? It's dying just in the way of starvation happens, and that there's just nothing out there to buy. So I guess it's dying in that regard. Unless you're a Walmart or a Target, and then they have tons of product. But for the rest of us, don't know about you, but I sure haven't been able to buy a whole lot.
You
I
know,
as enticing as those Brilliant Stars boxes at 135 looked, uh, I'm good. I'm gonna just not buy those.
135. Where was that at? Alliance?
Uh, no, Mad Al had that.
Oh, Mad
Uh,
Owl. Oh, I don't have
I think that
access to
was
Mad
the
Owl. I think they're East Coast only.
maybe,
Cause I went
but
on the Pokemon and I couldn't apply for them. I just remember that. But
oh,
no,
interesting
the reason why I titled the video just the way I titled it is just for the purpose of
for clickbait.
clickbait.
Yeah,
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 100%.
yeah.
100%. That's how I always title my videos. I mean, it gets clicks. I don't know. That's how you do it.
Mm.
But
Well, hey, good for you. I'm glad that things are working out.
I don't know, man.
Um,
It's part of it all.
but yeah, I mean that's how things been with ordering for you. I haven't had too great of success. I was able to get some Scarlet and Violet for 105 a box. That was pretty sick.
Um,
But other than that, that's all I've been buying.
I mean, I'm at this point where I've had to find opportunities elsewhere.
Okay, I don't know what that means, but okay,
Well, hey,
I'm
I'll
listening.
explain. I'll explain. I'll explain.
Okay,
Don't
okay.
jump the gun. All right. So, by opportunities elsewhere, I mean a couple of examples. Most recently, there was a V-Star Universe reprint, and
Mm,
so I dropped $20,000 on getting V-Star Universe boxes.
sick.
And so we bought a bunch of those, and then I sold them to the program for like $63 a piece. I think is how much I sold them for. Because I was able to get a good discount because I bought so many of them from a Japanese retailer that just gave me a good rate because of how many I bought. And then outside of that, basically just any sort of ancillary product that I can try and break down and get like packs to do pack bundles or something that like you just have to kind of get creative. I mean, frick, we just recently sold like a bunch of Scarlet and Violet build and battles or stadiums, or it always goes back to the well of build and battles and stadiums being broken down for bulk or selling it because the bulk value for Silver Tempest right now is kind of crazy when it comes to the promos. So but other than that, it's like terms of like just regular product like elite trainer boxes, booster boxes, if you consider that regular product nowadays, but that's about it. So
Yeah, it just seems like distro is having a hard time.
yeah, how do I want to say this? I was talking to my rep like an hour ago, and he was like, I really appreciate what you guys are doing. You guys understand the program. You guys eat the shit sandwich all the time by picking up like $100,000 in the past month of like build and battle stadiums and like trainer toolkits and blah blah blah. I'm like, yeah, and that's great, and I'm glad that you recognize that, but that's like 95% of what we've picked up, and like 5% has been like booster boxes and elite trainer boxes and good stuff. And it's like
Hmm.
you could, I don't know, you could throw us a bone a little bit more, like just a little bit. Is that too much to ask for? But I don't know, I guess.
I don't think it is. Uh, there's definitely been. I meant to do a video about this too, about distribution doing these bundle deals and stuff. It's just I maybe talked about it a little bit, but that is just so harmful to smaller stores and people that can't throw $10,000 at an order or $2,000 even at an order.
Yeah.
Like it really sucks for people that maybe you only have the one distributor, and the only way you can get Crown Zenith right now is if you buy these 18 collector's tins or whatever the hell they have bundled with them together. It's just so rough and so bad for them. Like there's no way to get product other than just taking the shit sandwiches like you said right now, and that's
That's
just
literally what my rep calls it.
it's a bummer. Like that is so sad that's where we're at. But
my do you remember the one Southern Hobby put out where it was like if you wanted 9 Brilliant Stars Elite Trainer boxes, or sorry, booster boxes, you had to pick up like 10 cases of Battle Academies? I don't know if you ever got that email.
yeah, I did.
Yeah.
And by the time I got back to my rep about it, he said that they're already sold out.
Yeah.
So people are eating the shit sandwiches.
Yeah.
So seems like
I
it's
bought,
working.
I bought 5 of the bundles I
So it was
wouldn't.
you. It was
Yeah.
you.
I spent like $11,000 on it, and I was like, all right, we need to get our spend up. How are we gonna do it? I don't know, but we're gonna sell off the bundles and see what we can get. But it's tough. Justin Durr has a question. He said, "Could you guys go over a little bit of what Danny Phantom is selling? LGS shot themselves in the foot with Pokemon. How do you guys feel about that video? Seeing the Target, Walmart, Best Buy selling booster boxes." Wait, you're seeing that, or are you saying in terms of speculation?
Did you see his video?
I watched his video. He didn't say that. He didn't, as far as I remember watching, maybe I missed it, but I watched his video and he was more or less talking about how distro just hasn't really had a ton of product lately, but if you go to like a lot of the big box retailers, they're consistently having product and even older products. Like I remember I went and visited the store like literally a couple weeks ago and they still had like Shining Fates, Walmart V boxes and like Reshiram, and was it Reshiram and Charizard? That was the special box for Walmart, the like gold variation. Like they had some
Oh,
boxes.
geez. Like, yeah, like a year and a half ago. Yeah.
Yeah, no, they had still like plenty of product, and it was like when I went and visited a month prior, it was still there. Like it looked like it hadn't been touched. And I think he was also discussing as well how, Jam Holdings is different from our distributors and more or less is talking about how he thinks potentially that, this is not obviously confirmed, but that the Pokemon Company could kind of push going towards the big box retailer rate and less favoring the LGSs. But I could be wrong about that. You guys in the chat can correct me, but I feel like that was the general sentiment of the video.
Yeah. And look, I just want to throw out there, like before, I totally disagree with Danny. There's nobody I respect more than Danny in this industry at all. Like he is the tippy top, the best dude, the best seller. Like he's untouchable. Dude is a hustler. He does and works harder. He will outwork. He will out just perform, do more events, do more shows, make more content. Literally every way. Danny is killing competition, and he's just the man. That being said, my perspective from an LGS as a brick and mortar store is very different from his, because it seems like to me that Pokemon is putting more emphasis on brick and mortars and trying to move away from and punish, if anybody, online sellers that are dumping this product and destroying the value for this product. I think it would be in their best interest for distribution to favor the people that are running events, are running the League Cups, League Challenges, doing the premier events, following the rules, not operating, $1 million business out of a basement. Like I think that is what they want to foster and what they want to support. So it could just be that by proxy, in order to flush those types of businesses out, that's what Pokemon is doing, and just starving distribution. That being said, yeah, we're all getting punished right now. It feels like there's no product. Walmarts are flush with product, not stuff that I would want. It's a lot of crap product that Walmart is getting. Old tins, like I don't even know what these tins have in them. It's been so long. Like the Evolution tins I've seen, like with Flareon, like what I don't know where they got these or how long they've been sitting on this stuff, but it's crazy that this is the stuff that they have sitting around to throw in these big box stores. But I mean, if you wanted to solve the solution or really like fix the price gouging, brick and mortar has to price gouge because I have no other way to make income. I have no other way to function as a business if I can't get product. And this is something I continually say in videos all the time, is that I cannot take half my allocation, a quarter of my allocation, and make that last until the next set release. I just can't. That like I have two stores, I have two leagues. I go through almost a case of product every week just running events for price support. Like I I burn through this product, and that is supposedly the way I'm supposed to be running these events. Now, why am I not able to get the support from Pokemon or distribution? Why doesn't distribution have the product for me to run these events with? it doesn't make any sense to me. So if they really wanted to solve, and that was the real reason for all this, to stop the gouging, it'd be to flood distribution with products, not the opposite. And I think distribution is also to blame for this as well, because they are, again, doing these bundles, overcharging on products just because they're trying to limit it and get the most money they can, or maybe as well, make it last. They also don't have the product to sell either, so they have to, again, make up the gap in the spending and them being profitable, trying to get as much as they can for a product, which is, it's all fair. That's how businesses work. So if anything, Pokemon should be dumping more product into distribution to try to get these prices down and under control and to stop that from happening, not the opposite. That is not the solution.
So a couple of things I want to touch on with that. One, I was on the phone with my rep about an hour ago, and he told me that one of the new reps that they have used to work from Southern, used to work for PhD, and he was telling me that he had the conversation with the individual who used to work there and was one of the reps there, and he's like, hey, all those things that I've been telling you about PhD holding off product, yeah, this individual confirmed all of that as one of the reps and says they basically have a ton of product that they just hold off to the side and try and upcharge it for a greater price rather than just dumping it all when they're supposed to be dumping it. And I was like, well, why doesn't anyone say anything about it or go to the Pokemon company? Because isn't that a breaking of contract? And he's like, well, technically, yeah, but I mean, it's your word against theirs unless they do an audit, and I doubt they're going to do something like that. So it's just whatever at this point. And I was like, wow, that kind of sucks. And then another point I wanted to kind of piggyback off of what you're saying. I feel like a lot of people don't really understand that Pokemon in particular, like there's a reason why, historically speaking, the worst performing sets in just about every generation is usually the first two. It's because the Pokemon company focuses super heavily on the new generation having extremely competitively viable cards. And sure, you can have some amazing artworks or some Pokemon that people will enjoy in there, but time and time again, it's like no one's investing in a Guardians Rising or a Sun and Moon base or Rebel Clash or a Sword and Shield base, right? Like it was the sets that came thereafter that people really enjoyed. And sure, these sets thereafter can have competitive cards, but usually it's always like, hey, we're coming into a new generation. Let's just shake up the general competitive scene. And the Pokemon company does that because they care very heavily about the player base. They care about the competitive scene. And so for that reason, if you're saying to yourself, okay, well, the Pokemon company wants to shift away from LGSs and they want to go, let's say, hypothetically, to big box retailers, then that would just be completely contradictory of what they're doing and what they're saying, because you're not going to have freaking Pokemon play events hosted at a Walmart. Like, they're going to be hosted at local game stores. And so if you're not supplying the product for the individuals that need them the most so that you can keep the game alive, and instead you're giving them to big box retailers, which have zero interest in the player base other than just they get product from jam, like that just makes zero sense to me. So I don't see a world in which that would come to reality. And I agree with Mason on as well that, yeah, you have to flood distribution to solve the problem. And if anything, you have to focus more on just prioritizing the big box retailers less, because a boss brings up a valid point. Amazon is obviously a big online retailer, and they are selling booster boxes lower than most stores can afford to sell because they just can, because the prices that they're getting it at for, and they just can walk away and do that. So yeah, it's quite fascinating.
That is also keeping these products, the prices, artificially pumped up, because if I have to pay $135 for Brilliant Stars boxes, that product will never go below, $145 on TCG Player, because all of us are having to pay that much more for that. So yeah, it's also like falsifying the market in demand, and that these products are just expensive for no reason.
Yeah, I mean, was. Sorry, you can go.
Well, I was in order for the give and take of the market and supply to do its thing, I think the answer would have to be that distribution has to have a certain amount that they can charge up for these things. I understand, the initial wave is not going to be, if it's a free-for-all for everybody. Whoever wants to pay the most should get the product. At the same time, you also have to be able to control the price of your products, at least in some way. And if Pokemon was going to put the foot down and say that, and say, hey, you guys cannot charge over X amount of what you buy this from us for, no one's going to say no. It's Pokemon. Like, they're not going to lose Pokemon or be able to sell product of Pokemon because they have these restrictions on them. I think that is really the kind of policing that probably needs to happen. If you're going to trust distribution to distribute your products, they should probably be doing it ethically. And if Pokemon, especially if Pokemon International is anything like Pokemon Japan, they want things as cheap possible, and they go after the people that are taking advantage of people. And that not just LGSs, that's distribution at this point. So there's that.
Yeah. Well, and it's crazy to see, speaking of Japan, how that market has just become so hyperinflated because of the disconnect between prices in the US. Because literally, I remember when Eevee Heroes was coming out, like back when, I mean, Japanese hype was just starting to ramp up, but that was more or less because Pokemon Company USA, or just, English, was getting drastically more expensive. Like, I think at the time it was lucky if you could find a booster box under $100. And people were all saying, oh, you're never going to see it under $100 again, blah, blah. Anyway, and at the time, you were seeing Japanese booster boxes selling for like $40, $45, $50 was like the average price. And they come with 30 packs, or they don't come with as much bulk, but who freaking cares? Like, most people care about the hyper rares and the ultra rares anyway. And so a lot of, US individuals see that and they're like, oh my goodness gracious, the prices are so much cheaper for Japanese product. I can, get a booster box over here for $120, $130, $140, $150, and over there I can get it for $40, $45, $50. I'll do it. And then drastically you saw the price increase, and you've seen a whole new market emerge when it comes to export of Japanese product, where a large market is now being formed specifically from buyers outside of Japan. And because of that, you've seen just a massive rate of inflation in prices, where now it's considered a fantastic deal if you get it at MSRP. Not close to wholesale like it was before, or, below MSRP. Like, if you get it at MSRP, which good luck if you can do that, then it's a great deal. And it's just completely like changed the market there.
Yeah. To illustrate the point, let's talk about something that is not going to happen. But Evolving Skies gets reprinted. And it hits distribution. Distribution only has so much, obviously. It doesn't matter how much they get. It's not going to be enough. So let's just say. So in order to keep cap on that, distribution has to charge retailers a certain price. Chat, let me know. Put in the chat what you think distribution would sell these booster boxes for if they had Evolving Skies in the warehouse right now, knowing that they were $400 right now on the open market. How much do you think distribution would charge retailers for them? Let me know. I want to see what the chat is, what comes up with. Because this already happened. Remember, Eli? We already had a little tiny itty-bitty amount of boxes hit distribution. And I know the percentages based off of what the market was at the time. Let's see if the chat can think of what it might be.
Oh, yeah, right. I wish.
Yeah. Yep. BC3. 200. I would buy as many they'd be willing to give me. Department Store says 385, which sounds more realistic.
Honestly, though, that's probably the closest I've seen so far.
Okay. Mike says 180, 350. Okay. 190. Okay. All right. Eli, do you remember what they were selling those booster boxes for and what they were doing at the time?
Well, I guess it depends on your distro, but are we talking about the small wave in August?
That was the last one, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Man, that's pretty wild. All right, yeah.
So it depended upon the distributor, but I think that I had some of them that were charging anywhere between 160 to 180 when the price was at close to $200. That's what I was seeing. So
you're talking a $40 profit bump. So to have that same percentage, that had to be what? If they're 400 now, that means what? They have to be 320.
Yeah, I think
And I would predict we would never see a booster box of Evolving Skies for less than 320.
I would be surprised if they even did 320.
Yeah,
I
me
would
too.
way closer to 350, 360-ish. That's what I would think they would do more of. That just
And you have to remember, Pokemon would not be charging the distribution companies anymore. They do not have to pay more. Pokemon is going to charge what they're charging. So that's me speculating. I have no idea. I would assume Pokemon Princess stuff, and it would come out the same price. I don't know, but to me, it would make sense that maybe they sell a little bit more increase. I don't know, but I have no idea. But everybody has to make money along the way, which is totally fine. But the fact that distribution knows the market prices, sees the market at where it's at, and then adjusts their prices accordingly, it is not properly fulfilling the supply, and it's keeping demand low for these items so they can maximize profits of that. No matter what the supply is, it doesn't matter what it is. If the prices don't move, the demand won't move. So that is like the fundamental, like in the free market system, supply and demand, blah blah blah. If something is tweaked and it's not moving and is manipulated, the whole system breaks down.
yeah, that's not free market.
So if I have to pay, let's say 350 for Evolving Skies, and they throw hundreds of boxes to everybody, every account gets as much as they want. No matter what, those boxes will still never go below that 350, right? Like in theory, like no one's gonna automatically just dump all the product that they had. Well, now's the time. Here's all these other extra boxes that I paid $200 for. No one's gonna do that. That's crazy.
Dude, Jim R says bundle it with the bad stuff for one booster box.
Dude, I'm in. Like, what do you want me to take? It doesn't matter.
That's what they do.
I will take Evolving Skies anymore. So
that's fair, Jim. At least Magix doesn't hide the fact that they upcharge a lot of their hot items.
You know what? They put it on the. If you guys want to see the weekly specials for Magazine Exchange, anybody can go on there and look at it and look at the prices. You just go to their website. You can look at it. You don't have to log in and do any special accounts. Their specials are visible to everybody. So, but
I have an idea. I have a solution. Piggybacking off of what you're saying.
You gonna fix it?
I giga brain idea right here. I think that what they should do is they should make it that the Pokemon Company makes it so that distro can only charge a flat rate regardless of whether it's a new print or not. And kind of like with Magic, right? Like if you have a WPN and you choose specifically someone to be like your specific distro, right? I think that they should do something like that, but you only get access to it obviously if you're a game store, and that gives you a discounted rate that you can be offered if you are a storefront. So more or less, I guess the point that I'm making is, hypothetically speaking, right? We're seeing booster boxes right now for Scarlet and Violet. They're like 95 to 101 depending upon the distributor. I think that they should give access to the LGSs at that price point right now, and if you're an online retailer, then you have to pay like 101 to 105, because artificially then what that's going to do is it's going to give an edge on the market to storefronts, and online retailers are not going to be able to get in as good of a price, because even with them having less expenditures, they're still having a lot higher of a bottom line. And then on top of that too, it forces distribution to have a minimum price that they're going to charge, but at the same exact time, they can still quote unquote upcharge online retailers for not having a storefront. That's just an idea that I just kind of thought of.
Dang, I need a pen. But anyways, I was gonna write stuff down while you're talking, but it's fine. So another situation that has just happened.
What are your thoughts on my idea? Hold on. What are your thoughts on my idea?
Well, yeah, like that would require them to put again stipulations on these distribution companies to say, hey, you are going to favor these accounts. You're going to favor actual brick and mortars, and you're going to actually. I mean, and people say that shouldn't be a thing. Wizard of the Coast literally operates under that same premise. If you don't have a brick and mortar store, you don't get Magic products. Like that's like, so it's not an unheard of situation. Like it's a thing that a lot of companies do. MetaZoo doesn't sell to non-partnered stores. Even if you have a brick and mortar, I can't get MetaZoo because I'm not a partnered store anymore. Flesh and Blood also has stipulations and how much you can get, and pricing locked in for certain people that are in the organized play for Flesh and Blood. All these companies do the exact same thing across the board. So Pokemon can do it. Other stores or other businesses are having to do it and have done it forever. Wizards has never sold to non-brick and mortar stores from distribution. Never had. So it's all possible. These are not like big crazy ideas. These are all things that actually exist and things that actually are happening. And does that help? Does it support you enough to you're happy, Eli?
Dang, why are you coming at me like that?
Because I'm gonna keep moving. I'm gonna
keep going.
Right. Yeah, let me cook. All right, so
he's on a roll.
The other situation that is happening is that non-LGS Pokemon leagues are getting shut down. All these Pokemon leagues that have like meet up at libraries, at restaurants and McDonald's and other places that do not have sales of product is going away. Those are stopping, I think, at the end of this month. So like soon. And I had initially saw this on Facebook and people were posting about it, and they said, this is a big deal, this is a bummer. And my initial thoughts was that, oh, this is good. All you have to do is just partner with the LGS that's close by. I'm sure that they'd love to have the growth of people in the community and their league numbers boosted, and then also somebody that's willing to help and also run the league and run the events and stuff like that. That's going to be a huge help to a lot of game stores to have that kind of help. But as I responded to that in the comment, and then the comments after that, brought to my attention, there are some places that simply just don't have LGSs. They just don't have game stores that host events that are relatively close. Places out in the rural areas, just low population areas. They're just not, a game store is already not viable enough as it is. In a small rural community, it's even less viable. It's even less of a possibility to be invested in organized play of any kind for a store. So you see Pokemon doing this, shutting all those down, and then our distribution numbers are getting cut in half. To where it's even harder to push these products, sell products, to run these events. I can see where it is contradictory to they're saying one thing with one action, saying, hey, we really want to support stores and really want to support people that are running events for us. We're going to shut down all the other leagues that don't have all this stuff. And then they're saying on the other side, say, hey, sorry, I can only give you this much product. You're SOL. Oh, and if we get a reprint, you're going to have to get gouged for it because distribution is going to charge you whatever they want for it. Okay, thanks, bye. Deuces. Like there's two things that are conflicting there that are not making sense logically. So I'd really like to know from Pokemon, like what are they doing? Like what is their actual plan here to fix these situations that are not just, these are not made up situations, and it's not just me whining about a situation. It is literally how the system works is breaking down. And how this is supposed to be working and how LGSs are supposed to function in the organized play sphere of how they want us to run and all these stipulations and all the rules they want us to follow, I can't follow because I can't get the stuff I need to follow these rules. What am I supposed to be doing? Did you even look at like Yu-Gi-Oh? Yu-Gi-Oh you cannot do cash events for. You also can't get Yu-Gi-Oh product if you don't order it and pre-release and pre-order it from distribution 4 months in advance. So if you want to get any sort of Yu-Gi-Oh presence in your store and you don't have the organized play numbers to get that to happen, you cannot run cash events to do that. I have to either give stuff away, product that I already am limited on, or just at release, just really hope and beg that people are going to come to my events. So Yu-Gi-Oh is even worse off. So we're not that bad yet, but still, it's pretty rough running a store and trying to run events because I have to have access to this product, and I have to have access to the product cheap enough to where it makes sense. I run my events for Pokemon at $12. $12 is a lot for events for people. It's a lot to ask people every week. Hey, give me $12. Give me $12. Give me $12. It's taxing. Yes, I try to do as much support as I can. as much as I can squeeze out of that, but I have to have the product do that. I can't just keep, hey, here's a win a box tournament. It's $5 a person, and then 8 people show up, and I lose money. I lose my absolute ass on it. Like that should not be the beating I have to get are required to take in order to get product and run pre-releases and have access to that kind of stuff. It's two very conflicting things that are being out in the ether of this organized play situation. Okay, that's all. Go ahead.
No, you're good, dude. You had a thought process. You were ready to go, man. I ain't gonna stop you there.
Well, I mean, I had thought about this, and I will end up doing a video and have it more concise and ready to go. And I've already made a video about the league shutdown. I just haven't published it yet. So this is all just me, things I've already thought about, and I think about daily anyways. But this is all funneling through this live.
No, 100%. I feel that. And then at the end of the day, the best part about it is you're getting crushed over here because of online retailers, and then you're going to be painted as the bad guy too at the end of the day because you have to charge higher prices because of the way in which the system is set up for you.
Right. And then P is saying, okay, can't you just do store credit? Absolutely, I can do store credit. What are they going to spend money on? I have nothing for them to want. What are they going to do? Buy singles that they don't want, or just like it's not a real good situation either. It is an answer and something that you can absolutely do, but yeah, even the pre-releases are designed to where you give out packs and you give out packs for pricing, and organized play is supposed to be you pay so much, and Pokemon literally doesn't say how much you're supposed to charge for league events. It can be whatever you want to charge, but you are expected to give something back in return, and store credit is not one of those things. For a long time, Pokemon didn't even like you giving out cash to kids. Like they used to have to do scholarships and stuff to travel stipends and stuff like that to kids when they won like league cups and stuff, which is it's crazy, right? Like that's a silly thing for me to have to worry about. So yeah,
Right.
it's at least that is something that we have gotten resolved, but it's still something that there's only so many things that somebody would want to get back,
Yeah. Then you'll see things like Fortnite giving out $1 million cash prizes to a bunch of 8 or 9-year-olds competing in tournaments.
Well,
You're
yeah,
like, what?
Mhm.
Why? How's this allowed? But we can't do our thing. Yeah, it's a fun situation to say the least. A couple of people asked some interesting questions. I would be curious to see if you really want to touch on it, but
I will. You can ask me any question I want to, and I will respond to it.
Are you a foot guy? No, I'm just kidding. Both said any question.
Negative.
Both you guys are very knowledgeable. How do you guys think the depolarization of the countries tag teaming up on us, the potential housing market crash will affect everything, or Pokemon is everything around us? Basically, what I'm trying to say is that with all the crazy inflation, everyone becoming more and more expensive, do you think people will be even able to afford Pokemon if things get bad?
I like to think of, just anybody's hobbies in general, right? No matter what hobby you have, it's going to cost some sort of money to do and to participate in. And people aren't going to stop hobbies just because things are bad. Trust me, people make terrible financial decisions all the time. And whether they have to pay more for something is not going to necessarily stop them from making bad financial decisions anymore. I've had people come to my store and trade stuff in because they had to cover rent that month. Like, people are going to spend money regardless of where they spend it is not of any indicative of how great the economy is. Let me tell you that right now. As a store that brings things in and does, gives cash for used goods, a secondhand store. People bring in things that they shouldn't have bought in the first place to get money for that they need now. So I think we are less impacted by the overall economy than a lot of other sectors. Like think of like fast food. Like there's other ways to get fast food or to eat than to go and buy fast food or go out to dinner even. Restaurants get probably walloped when times are bad, especially high end, more expensive restaurants. Uh, People don't stop, having hobbies. They don't stop going to the movies. They don't stop enjoying media. They don't stop, watching Netflix. They still participate in all those. The little joy in their life is typically the last thing to go, as far as like frivolous money is. There's if they really need to, and some of them need to do it already, but there's other places to cut back and to cut corners.
So I want to make an interesting point, and obviously you can give your opinion on if you think I'm going anywhere with this. But I remember that when I was growing up, the times in which I was heaviest into Pokemon was, I mean, you guys all know, Diamond, Pearl, Platinum era, right? What time frame was that during when I was a little kid? That was shortly after the Great Recession. And during that time, it was something that Pokemon for me, growing up as a kid, was something that I more or less used as a distraction, because every single Saturday I would go to my local game store and they would always have just Pokemon play events where you had your little stamp thing that they gave you and you had to get, I think it was like 8 games, and once you got 8 games you got a badge and you got a couple of promos, and then every so often they'd have tournaments, right? And that was like my thing that I did outside of school, and collecting Pokemon was something that I really enjoyed. It was something that I felt like it was something that was used to more or less escape the reality of what was going on during the time. And obviously, a little kid, you're not really knowing a lot of these things to begin with. I look at the entertainment sector very much so in that similar way. Obviously, you're going to have certain luxuries that people are going to back off on that they can't afford, and there's certain assets that are going to have to be liquidated. But if I'm being honest, and this might sound like a hot take, people might get upset by saying this, and I could be wrong to begin with, I think if anything's going to suffer in a recession, it's going to be vintage. And the reason why I think that is because you have consistently new modern product that's getting put out, and the prices for this modern product and the demand for this modern product is pretty consistent. Obviously, you're going to have your sets that are going to do well, your sets that are going to do bad, etc., etc. But we know what wholesale prices are. We know what the retail market looks like, and we know that they're going to keep pushing out the product. And we know more or less what a general floor looks like for a set, like an all-time floor. Like obviously, it's one thing if you say what's the floor for Evolving Skies, but if you came out with a new set and they like hypothetically reprint in the ground, odds are the prices are probably at this point for a new set not going to go, below $80, $85 or, into the 70s, especially with the new MSRP point. The point I guess I'm more or less making with this, if you look at a lot of WotC, sure, you can collect WotC cards, you can put them in binders and such, slabs of 7, 8, 9, raw. But I feel like a large aspect of what WotC has become has been like there's such larger assets because it's such a more mature market. And for that reason, I feel like if people that are, in the position where they need cash quick, and you're going to see a lot bigger individuals, like individuals that have been in the market for a while, that have been holding on to product for a while because they've just been around for so long, and they just need to liquidate their cash now because of whatever happens in the market. I feel like more or less you're going to see that with these big ticket items that absolutely exploded during the time of the pandemic, where you saw 10, 20, 30, upwards of 100x, depending upon the card that you're looking at, in price. And it's just going to, start to take a dive. I could be wrong. Like I could be 100% off base on this, but that's kind of what my take on it when I look at the overall market, if something happens in the economy.
Yeah, I think you think of things that are already past the hot newness, right? I would look back at that and be like, base set has been there, it'll always be there. There's a lot of it out there. Why would I be spending money there now when I could be focusing on the new stuff that is exciting and hype? As far as like people getting entertainment out of this hobby, the entertainment and the hype is in new stuff. Like you can always go back and get base set stuff. That's not where hype really is centered around these days. It's just not. So everybody's going to be focusing on the new stuff all the time. That's where if people are going to be spending money and dropping money and going after and enjoying the chase and the thrill of the hunt, when opening packs, it's going to be in the new stuff for sure. So that totally makes sense to me.
Yeah, it's not like the everyday American is just gonna be like, yeah, I'm gonna do a booster box break for a Fossil first edition box. Like, okay, no, that's usually a luxury item that if people can't afford to buy into it, they're doing so because they have the money to do it. And if finances become tight, then more than likely the luxury items, the higher end items are going to be pulled back on, and the cheaper, more affordable, or in this aspect, I mean, when you're comparing the two, it's far and away going to be like, we always complain modern is just so much more obviously expensive, which it is, because if you look at the art designs now, and how expensive like alternate arts and such, like it totally makes sense, and the sets are much bigger. But even then, like, at least in terms from a sealed product perspective, like in the grand scheme of things, we're so like blessed with the idea of booster boxes sub 100 or like around the $100 price point, that the fact is that we're so spoiled that if we see a box at 144, we're like, wow, that seems overpriced. But like,
right? Yeah,
it's just such a wild thing to think about.
yeah. I mean, and everybody always talks about like, oh, if it's triple MSRP, people want it a lot more than they want it at MSRP, right? And it's just like, yeah, because why are people spending money in this sector anyway? Why are people interested in Pokemon right now? It's because it's fun. The chase, the gambling aspect of it, the chasing the value, that all plays into people wanting to buy, especially sealed product. I mean, like if everything was cheap and everything didn't matter and everything didn't have any value, nobody would be opening any sealed product. Mm-hmm. It is the chase, it is the hits, it is the stuff that is exciting and to go after that makes people want to buy stuff. It's not anybody that debates that or thinks that I'm just here because I love the card. And it's just like, man, I appreciate you, and I know that is a part of it, but everything has value, and everything has to have some sort of retainment for you. And there's definitely worse things for you to be blowing money on. You could be out, buying alcohol. You could be out, buying crack. You could go, buy whatever you want. I know it went to extreme, but as far as habits go and things that vices, at least you get some sort of value back out of some stuff that it's not just totally wasted. So, I mean,
Pokemon is legal gambling for kids.
Not just legal gambling, but also for kids. Yes.
No, straight up. And it's like, I feel like, I mean, there's two ways to go about this, right? You've got the gambling aspect, which is it takes away a lot of the fun. Sure, you can be like, oh my god, I got the biggest hit, but why is it the biggest hit? Because it has the highest demand or the highest value that people want to acquire that card for. If every card was priced the same, then there wouldn't be a chase card. That wouldn't be a thing, because I mean, everything would be priced the same. And then second off, why are these cards, the highest chase cards, right? It's usually it's two things. And one of them usually comes from nostalgia, because Charizard, it's the OG, it's one of the fan favorites, and then also art designs, and those things are going to play factors into pricing. That's why they call it the Charizard tax, or whenever it comes into a set.
Yeah, I mean, look, Pokemon is very deliberate about how they build the structures of any set, and you better believe that is something that they think about and design everything from. Is sprinkle in a couple playable stuff for the players, sprinkle in a couple of good arts for the collectors. Like that is it's fundamental. Like this is not a just haphazard way of running business. Like Pokemon is better than anybody as far as a set composition and building things so that they have a base. It's called a base set for a reason. It's literally the bottom of the pyramid. Like can we all just acknowledge that is when you say something is Scarlet and Violet base set, that it's the bottom. It's what you build the rest of the format on. So yes, the base set is not the pinnacle of the set. Like, let me put it in terms to illustrate. But and then yeah, the second set always has, like you said in your video, and it was, and people, you say people are misinterpreting. I don't think people are misinterpreting. It's just that people are not seeing it from a design aspect. That this is all designed. So like, if none of the cards before Scarlet and Violet existed, could this game exist on its own and still have like fundamentals of play design behind it? And so when you go in and design a base set for something, you have your most basic rudimentary gimmicks, your basic like new mechanics, your basic stuff, and then you go to the next set, and then you're okay. This has to go deeper and expand on those other things. You get your Iono, which is a meta-defining card, just like how Boss's Orders was a meta-defining card in Rebel Clash, and then right, Rebel Clash, yeah, that's right, and then
Boss's Orders, yeah,
and then so Iono is going to be a meta-defining card. That is a card that is going to be in every deck. There's going to be several copies of that card in every deck because it's just so damn good, and it literally and fundamentally changes the way that you're going to play the game. Like you're gonna plan your decks around that mechanic, and like, I'm gonna get my hand destroyed when I'm winning, so we have to design around that and give me other outs and other options to regain my hand back. Like that's a card mechanic. Pokemon is very very draw heavy of a mechanic of a game. You have to be able to draw and have good hand size in order to play the game, or else you get stuck. So people are gonna have to build their decks around that type of mechanic going forward. That is always, again, on the base. Again, we're still at the base level of stuff, and then you start designing stuff, and then you get things like, instead of your Vs, you get your V Maxes and your stuff like that. That's going to be later at the top. And your V Maxes went to V Stars, pinnacle, right? The highest of echelon stuff. That is a general progression from a base of a set all the way through to like the end of a life cycle of a generation. Like all these things that we see as basic rudimentary things. That yes, when we see Obsidian Flames or whatever it's called with Charizard in it, we've never had, Pokemon with hats have an alt art, but that is a fundamental step next in the progression up the pyramid to the pinnacle of stuff, right? So yeah, then we're gonna have a shiny Pokemon with a hat with an alt art and with gold borders. That's gonna be like you can, yes, you have to keep building on what you established at the base. This is ranty, and I know, but like this is fundamental game design from their aspect that they literally have all this mapped out already. So it's fine. I'm not spilling any beans that that's probably not already coming. But that's when you were talking about what you were talking about. That is what the point that you're illustrating. There's an arc. There's a crest, and then a fall down to the next whatever the next set or block of cards are going to be. There's a building and a next step up to the next thing that you have to start at a base to build to.
No, 1000%. And I feel like the point more or less that, and to be fair, I titled the video the way I titled it to be, clickbaity. But the sentiment that I hold is, I think very much so in the long term, you guys are very much aware, I'm a fan of this through and through, right? I mean, my channel is called Pokemon USA for a reason. I run a business full time specifically geared towards Pokemon. So if I wasn't a firm believer in it, I wouldn't be in it, right? I just more or less talk about it from a market perspective, from a hype perspective. What general masses look at is they look at these frameworks, and then that determines obviously the current demand of how things are going to play through when it comes to the collecting and the competitive aspect. And that more or less, I feel like, got a lot of people all flustered, because I'm like, this isn't me criticizing a set and saying I hate it for this reason. No, this is me pointing out that the Pokemon has a framework that they do, and they're just continuing that framework, and this is how I expect the market to react based on the fact of historically, this is how they've reacted before when this framework was, outlined, regardless of the art designs. And obviously art designs are going to play a factor, but it has
to because Pokemon is a company and one of the few companies that designs things with the collectors in mind. Magic has done better about it here recently. Yu-Gi-Oh is making ghost rares of popular cards and starlight rares of popular cards, going back and something that catches and people enjoy, like ghost rares, like starlight rares, those things that people are gravitating to. They're like, okay, how else can we milk this gimmick that people are enjoying?
Yeah.
If alt arts are the new gimmick that the collectors are enjoying, you better believe they're going to start building things and expand on that and see how far they can take it before that fizzles out and we move on to the next thing. That's just that is basic, again, just design of any product at all. Like why do you think they build board games with expansions now? And everything's get expansions, DLCs, all the stuff.
No.
You figure out, you get your feedback from what people like, and then you build something bigger and better in the DLC that people are like, oh, this should have been in the base game. It's so awesome. Why wasn't it in the base game? Because they didn't know you were going to like that aspect of it, potentially. That's why they had to wait 6 months to put it out again, because they took your feedback and then tweaked this stuff to make you enjoy the overall experience even more. All this stuff that's how close these cycles are. Yes, they have the sets mapped out and ready to go as far as fundamentally, but art can always be changed. They can always change compositions. They can always remove cards and move things around from one set to another. And we got to remember that the in this lull of Scarlet and Violet base and this whole set, Pokemon was smart enough to go, okay, we're gonna make an absolute crazy Crown Zenith set that's going to pull us through all that stuff. So if people aren't excited about that, they at least have Crown Zenith to hold them and tide them through these next 6 months while we roll out these new sets. All this is very deliberately planned, and all this, there's very, very smart people thinking about all these things of how to control hype and your attention and all this stuff. They are and have proven themselves to be masters of it at this point. So I have complete faith that, hey, yeah, Crown Zenith is going to, I think the last boxes come out this weekend, right?
Yeah, yeah. It's the Zacian Zamazenta.
So we have that, and then we have the Rebel class or the Paldea Evolved coming, and then what's right after that? 151, right?
Yeah.
So
Ruler
the next
comes out in August, and 151 comes out in July, right? So
you think of the staging of okay, this block of hype goes over 6 months. This block of hype goes over 6 months, and then they have these sets sprinkled in every quarter. It's all very mapped out and planned accordingly. And they may have done that pretty poorly, mid Sword and Shield, Champion's Path was weird, right? That was a weird thing, and then Shining Fates kind of got shoehorned in there, kind of weird. But I think they're finally getting it to where it feels more cohesive and more across the board, more even, where you can really get and kind of build hype, and once something ends, another thing starts up not too long after that. I think that's very deliberate how they did that.
Well, I think rainbows are a perfect example of that, because I know there was pretty positive sentiment around rainbows when they first came out, and then all of a sudden just negativity just flooded it when it was in the Sword and Shield era. People were kind of sick of it at that point. Okay, so it looks like this set for Obsidian Flames, that releases in August, like we discussed. And for 151, the set is releasing in June in Japan. And in English, I can't find the date. It would be interesting if it was July, because...
I don't know when it would be. Again, I think they would do it. It's a specialty set, so I imagine that they'll have other products that are going towards the end of the year. If I had to guess.
That would be a really thin gap. But also, I don't know. I don't know if anyone has any input. Star U and Star Me from 151 revealed. Ooh, crazy. Just announced that.
Yeah, and you said that comes out in
June 16th
in Japan?
June 16th is when it comes out in Japan.
So they're just now spoiling the regular cards.
Yeah.
They're absolutely milking the ever-loving shit out of the set. For Japan. So, we are getting absolute drip fed the stuff that's going to be in this set. They haven't even talked about what, alt arts, hyper uber duber illustration, blah, blah, blahs are going to be in the set yet. We got a long way to go.
Literally, it's almost every day. It's a different article by Poke Beach that says, Star U and Star Me confirmed. Oh, Kabutops and Omastar confirmed. Oh, Raichu and Onyx confirmed. And I'm like, these are just regular holos comments and uncommons. Like, why are we getting so hyped about this? Like, this isn't that exciting yet. Like, we haven't seen the crazy stuff, but we'll see. Have you been following the competitive market pretty heavily?
Yes.
Shocker, right? Well, I have two questions I have for you, and one will follow up the other. What would you say right now, from what you've seen, is the most competitive deck right now that's like dominating the meta?
Lost box builds are definitely still very, very strong. Well, we have these big chunky basic 2 and 3 prizers. Lost box is able just to squeak and win because they have single prizes in their decks. I think their reign will continue until we get kind of that other stuff cycled out, like VMAX is cycled out, just because they win the prize race very, very quickly.
Yeah.
And this is real meta talk, so this 102 people watching right now is about to plummet, but we'll see. We'll see how they dig this. Yeah, and then I'm also seeing Arceus decks come back in the fold a little bit. It seems like the lack of special energies is really helping those decks that kind of power up based on putting basics out of the deck into and onto the bench. So Arceus is kind of seeing that second little wind, just because it's so hard to power things up right now because there's not special energies. And even in Paldea Evolved, the special energies that are coming out are only for, it seems like, I think, if I'm not wrong, it's either only for basics or that's only for non-Roblox Pokemon. I don't remember which ones. I haven't looked at a set list completely. But it's, again, not going to help out the things that are already performing really well. So they just seem to be building on definitely slowing the game down. The game is definitely slower than it was. Like, when Mew, VMAX, and Lugia was running around, you'd have 3-4 turn games sometimes. It was over. So it's definitely, things are getting slower. And I think Paldea Evolve has the Sabertooth Swordcat and then the grass snail, which I was just looking at. I was talking to my competitive team.
They were doing and the grass snail.
I don't remember their names until I see them in English.
Chimpeo and then...
Chimpao and
yeah.
Woo something.
Woo something. I can't remember exactly.
It's a snail. It's a snail. It's a cool snail. But the grass and water is getting good again. So again, it's a typing that we don't have strong support for currently. We do have strong support with a lot of water stuff, but they have Melanie, they have Arita, they have a lot of stuff that helps out with water. Grass might struggle, but we'll see what kind of stuff they get and what support and help they get. Is this what you wanted me to talk about? Is this what we're doing?
1,000%. This is 1,000%. Okay, so I have a follow-up question to you. So
yes.
one of the cards, or the decks that's starting to become somewhat prevalent, it's just popping up more, is the electric deck, with Raikou and Regieleki and that kind of whole deck. Have you been seeing that deck play quite a bit?
Yeah, Miraidon. I was not a believer in Miraidon when it first came out, but I've seen it do well, and it seems like it's able to hang.
So I personally have, and this is all just from me personally playing the game. I used to play Hearthstone at an extremely high level, and so for me, coming into this, I have a lot of background in construction and building decks. And one of the decks I built, and obviously this is just someone that's coming back into the competitive scene who's just trying to get a feel for it. One of the things that I felt like could potentially be really good as a future card is Charm of Courage. I've been looking at that card, and I look at that card and I just say to myself, man, this card looks so insane, because it gives an additional 50 health to a basic Pokemon. And when I look at decks, so my variation that I run of that, I get rid of the Raikous, and instead I replace it with Raichus. And then I have a Flaffy generator, and then I run an Arceus. So basically what I can do is on turn 1 or turn 2, depending upon how my setup is, I can basically get a generator going to where I have at least 4 or 5 energies already attached to my Pokemon because of the consistent just electric churning that I can get. And the biggest issue that I feel like I run into with the Raichu is that it's such a low HP Pokemon. And I'm like, if it just had like 30 more health, it just had a little bit more health. And the same concept applies with obviously the Raikou. And I feel like if you add that Charm of Courage to a lot of these basic Pokemon, like the synergy that goes with, especially already with the Regieleki that adds the damage, and now you're adding that additional health, you're like just super buffing the crap out of some of these basics. And like I said, this is just from my personal experience, but I look at that and I look at like my win rate percentage from the deck I've been playing online on ladder, and I see that consistently, if I do get knocked out, it's always like a few percentage points or a few damage counters. And if I just had something that could have, kept me alive, that would completely change things. And so I don't know. I've been noticing that card a lot outside of the Ione.
Yeah, remind me what Charm of Courage says. Is it 50 more HP?
50 more. The basic Pokemon card
So
this attached to
it's a
gets
cape of
50
toughness,
more.
basically.
Yeah, well,
But it's only for basics?
Only
Or
for basic. Only for basics.
Okay.
So that's the premium that you get of it. So
it's an interesting move, because they had been consistently making, especially EXs that drop lower HP. Instead of like, you think of like Magnezone that has like 310 or something ridiculous. They've been making those like 230, 240-ish HP for basics.
Yeah.
But then you slap that thing on it, and it's just, I guess you do have Lost Vacuum if you really had to.
Yeah.
Lost Vacuum could be a more important card. There's a lot of, like, again, it's a card game. Like, they've thought about this already, and like us as the players aspect, we're seeing things from that perspective too, where it's like, oh, that's why that card exists. All the way forever ago. That's why that card is relevant now. That's why we were like, ooh, that's not a very good card. Or, it'd be like, ooh, if this was just a little bit better, this might be good. But then now we see game design in its finest when Pokemon calls things back from past sets and says, oh, that's why you need that card. Okay, cool. And we see, again, why reprints are important and why these things all need to be available at all times, because something that was not meta relevant in Chilling Rain could all of a sudden be relevant again, and we need that Chilling Rain stuff. So
yeah, and that's the argument I've made as well, because maybe it's too slow, but we're in a pretty slow meta right now. I look at Flaffies and I say I can get a Flaffy onto my Nest Ball, into Rhydon, into 2 electric energy or 2 electric basics on my bench. One, depending upon what my setup is. Usually at least one of those is going to be a Mareep, and then on turn 2 I can level ball or whatever my support is into setting up and getting the Flaffies going on turn 2. And I've already by turn 1 started setting up my Raichu to just burn in turn through energy feeding. So it's like, and I look at that card and I say to myself, okay, well, before it wasn't really that viable because there wasn't anything strong it could synergize with, and the meta was somewhat faster. But now that it's slowed down and it's gotten a bunch of support to go with it, I'm like, I could be wrong, but I feel like that could be a card that could become relevant again. But that's just at least from my personal plays that I've had.
Yeah, there have been numerous decks, and again, you got to remember, we rotated super late, and we're still behind in rotations. So like, we are seeing things in play right now that should not, and were not originally designed to be in play because we didn't rotate. So a lot of the D blocks screwed everything up. Like, the fact that Lugia existed with all those amazing rares, that shouldn't have been a thing. Those were not designed to probably be together. So that's why that was just so oppressive. Like, that was so dominant, is because they literally didn't mean for those cards to exist together. So now that we get back to the relevance of this meta, and then as we go from E to F to now G, we're seeing this stuff become more important and more relevant, because all the other stuff is going away. So the super broken stuff. The game is becoming more healthy. The game is becoming more competitive. It's becoming more varied in the types of decks that you can play, because things are not just super busted anymore because we have such a huge card pool.
Yeah.
We're really seeing the benefits of that now.
Yeah, it's not like I'm just running into the same deck every freaking time, which is nice. I mean, I don't know. For me personally, just having, like, I remember trying to get back into it. I came back during Evolving and was like, I like Evolving. There's a couple of cool fun decks. And then they came out with Fusion. And then literally 90% of the decks I played, on ladder were the Genesect Mew deck. And I was like, I'm already sick of this. Like, this is terrible. This is so boring for me to play the
Hmm.
consistently same deck over and over again. And I want to try all these fun decks that, like, one of my favorite decks to play, I really love the Leafeon VMAX with the Galar Mines. I love that deck. I thought it was so fun to play, but I got stomped. And I had to play other decks, and even then, they would still get stomped. It was consistently the mirror matchups that I had to play to win the games. I was like, this is boring. Like, I don't like this. This is the new meta. But most recently, like, you've got the Gardevoir deck, you've got the new electric decks variations depending upon which one you're running. You've got the comfy decks, and it has multiple variations depending upon whether it runs Giratina or not. Like, you've got multiple different decks in the meta, and it's nice because, like, there's a constant. I want to say rock paper scissors, but honestly, it's bigger than that because there's so many different
Yeah,
variations.
it used to be rock paper scissors. I felt like with Lugia, Mew, and Lost Box. It used to be
Yeah.
rock paper scissors, but now it seems like we're getting more. We're getting your dynamites and your shotguns thrown in with your rock paper scissors.
Yeah,
So yeah,
which is nice. I like that.
yeah,
So
yeah,
it's
it's
definitely
nice.
it's definitely a lot healthier, I would say, of a meta for sure, because there's so much
Even
more
like
variation.
even Dark is doing and has some legs. Again, the deck was initially too slow, but as these super fast decks start to rotate out and people start playing with these slower decks, Dark can get more viable. Fighting gets more viable. Like everything gets more viable. The longer, not really the longer the games take, but like Mew is, it can kill you in a small amount of rounds, but to play that deck takes forever. You're drawing
Oh,
so many draws, so many, all these things that you're doing all these time. These decks that are being played now, they're a lot more straightforward. So you get faster turns, but the turns are getting longer. So the games are there's more chance for somebody else, the back and forth to happen. It's not as just, again, like I said, win 3 or 4 rounds or 3 round games. It's a lot more even.
yeah, no, 100%. And
I'm
and
proud of you. I'm proud of you, chat. We only went down to 82, so that's impressive.
we only last 20 people talking about nerdy stuff. All right.
Hmm. Did you guys
But
know that you can play with these cards too? It's kind of cool, kind of sick. Not gonna lie.
someone commented on my last video, and he's like, "Well, what's the point of the trading cards? Isn't it to collect?" And I was like,
Hmm.
"There is this other concept. I don't know if you've ever heard of it." But it's playing the game, which is a pretty fun game. I mean, obviously, it's not a super complex game like some of the other ones
No,
that I've played.
we are not
But
out here. We are not out here playing Magic.
no,
That has
not at
ten
all.
thousand cards that you can play with,
Yeah,
and that's okay. You can still have fun and come up with really fun decks and gimmicky decks, and still enjoy and have fun at your locals, and not feel like you have to. And it's not expensive. Like that's even through all this stuff, Pokemon has not been expensive to play, and that is like a major win that Pokemon should be happy about. Is that we didn't just get dunked on with prices and things being so expensive.
yeah.
You can make your deck very expensive, but as far as like the base cards go, been pretty reasonable, and I think that's something they should be proud of and kind of like thanked for, because it could have been crazy for a long time,
Yeah.
and especially even in the past couple of years. But they make the league battle decks for Mew. That was awesome to see. The Urshifus that now that those got printed into the absolute dirt, but like now that Lugia is using those Pokemon, like, hey, glad we have those promos now, because those cards would be super expensive because we have no sealed product for battle styles. So like it would have been rough if you had to get into this game and try to buy and stuff like that. So yeah, it's it. I think Pokemon's done really well at controlling the prices for stuff.
Well, as much as we like to crap on the battle decks, like, they were a solution that I feel like was introduced off of what happened with Roaring Skies.
Yeah.
Because when you see something like that happen where there's no alternative product to grab competitive cards, and you're just saying just a regular EX card just absolutely skyrocketing in value because of the competitive viability and the sealed product of that item, just based off that one item. There's nowhere else to get it from. Like, that just completely changes things, because it's not like, obviously there were some art designs that people enjoyed with with the Rayquaza and everything in it, but we all know that the predominant reason why it was going up was because Shaman was just dominant in the meta at the time. It was just a way stronger variation, or it was a busted version. I feel like of the Crobat. Having anything colorless just adds so much to it. But yeah, no, it'll be interesting to see. My biggest thing that I've talked about and I've hyped up a ton, and I don't know what's in it, right? This is super speculative, but potentially, right? I would like to see what trainer toolkits are going to look like for 2023, because I feel like a lot of people really were sleeping on the 2021 trainer toolkits. Not specifically 2022. 2022 was kind of lackluster at that point, but 2021, it had scoop up nets and it had capture energies, which at the time scoop nets were upwards of $5 to $6, and these 2021 trainer toolkits were like $17 on distro, and you had 4 cards that just made your money back, and then you get 4 packs on top of all the other bulk. Like, it was an insane value, right? And obviously prices have gone up with MSRP, but what have they done to counterbalance that? They threw in Arceus V and V-Star, and I have no clue what the promo value is going to be with that, and if it's going to match up to the inflated rate that they increased the price of. But when we look at what 2021 Trainer Toolkit did versus 2022, 2021 came out during the rotation, 2022 didn't. We're now going into the rotation with not knowing what 2023 is. I look at it in 2 ways. One, I look at it as we're going to more than likely see this come out shortly after Paldea Evolve, and so there's going to be a lot of competitively viable cards that they know are going to be competitively viable that they're going to throw in there because it's going to be part of the new meta. And then 2, I think it's also going to answer a question for ourselves. What are we going to see with the Arceus V and the V-Star in terms of its borderings? Because all the Vs and V-Stars that we've gotten so far have been all yellow borders, right? So having it be in an item that's going to be silver border product, I wonder if they're going to make silver borders V or V stars, and if they are, that might open up some things in the future for us to speculate. But
the V's already have they have black borders currently.
Right, but
so you don't have to worry about yellow. But yes, you're
sorry.
So
you know what I meant, though. You know what I meant, though.
Yes, the supporters and the items and the things like that.
Yeah.
Where are these going to come from? Yeah. We'll see, right? Like, who knows? Well, I guess it's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
To see what those do for sure. This like illustrates how smart the Pokemon designers are, and like the people that come out with these auxiliary products. Like Arceus V Star has gone up. It was initially back in February at least $8 card. It's up to like almost $12, $11.50. So like this product is coming out at like a perfect time when these things are getting back expensive again. Like Pokemon is, again, they thought all this up. They know how things are gonna go. They've play tested this an absolute shit ton. Like they're so smart in the products that they make and making good products. There's very, very rarely, other than like the V boxes, like the just absolute silly products that they have with 4 packs in them of some random V. The other products that are for like made for playing and for like people that want to get into the game and like suppress prices of things, they're just masters at coming up with what's in those products. So I think it's really cool that they continue to just absolutely crush and predict the meta as things are. Like, of course, because it's as they designed, but
so good at making the meta and coming up with these designs, but so terrible at printing enough of everything. What are your thoughts about them getting rid of the jumbo cards?
It's fine. Jumbo cards have no value. They have no.
I know, right?
I would give them away when people brought them in to kids that came in. So I have to think something else to give to kids now. But
I mean, what do you even ship that in the TCG player? Like,
no, to people that come into my store is what I'm talking about. I just
I'm asking you a general question. If you could sell those on TCG, what do you even ship those in? Like
that's the thing. It's not viable. There's nothing you can ship it in.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a good thing. And it seems like they're making the boxes smaller too. Is that what I'm understanding too?
Yeah, they are. Which Danny, so this is also part of the video that we were discussing earlier on. He was talking about one of the reasons. So we saw the box price go up from $20 to $22 for just standard 4-box decks. Or sorry, just 4-pack boxes. Holy crap, stroking out. And one of the things that was being discussed was, this is going to hurt game stores more, then it's going to hurt big box retailers because they can just eat this crap product and they can just sell it over time, and if it sells, whatever. They can clearance it. And so I'm curious what your thoughts are on how you feel as if that could affect game stores and the price change for this ancillary product outside of just, high demand booster box, elite trainer box, etc.
Yeah, I mean, it is nice when something comes out and you're able to make a little bit of a good money on it. As far as like the price increases on these things, we have been lucky in that, big box is also like raising these prices. So like if we had to like, for people that walk into my store, I have a Walmart and a Target right behind my second location, but I still sell tons of Pokemon product because I'm selling ETBs for 50 and they're selling them at Target and Walmart for 55. And Pokemon, our GameStop is selling things for dummy, silly prices and expensive prices. So it's just like it seems like they are.
Just so people can see, people were asking me the question of is this confirmed? Yeah, this is the new Annihilate EX box, and here's what it's going to look like.
Can I make that a little bigger?
Yeah. I can. Here, let me go on my screen and I'll zoom in on that. So this is what it's going to look like. It's going to have the Mankey, the Prime. It's going to have the full evolution line, and then as you can see the 4 packs. But look
and you can see how big the packs are in relation to that box. So it's going to be a itty bitty box. So it's going to be nice.
Mm-hmm.
You think about
shipping,
things that are so expensive, and cost of shipping and things. That these are going to be really, really good products for being able to put those out and ship those for people that need to ship them.
100%. I mean, literally,
even Pokemon themselves are going to save money to ship those. So that's like you're doing yourself a favor in that. So yeah,
dude. I will tell you though, talk about shipping and inefficiency. Like, I understand people don't like the product as much because I feel like you're getting less value out of stadiums. But holy crap, my fiance put it perfectly. They're like those Russian dolls that like you open one and then you open another and it keeps getting smaller and smaller. That is literally what stadiums feel like, and it's just so heavy because of it. It's like, all right, so I'm going to open the stadium and I'm going to take the wrapping and then I'm going to take the sleeve and then I'll open it up. And then there's 2 build and battles that I also have to open and get to. And then there's promos that I also have to open. Like, it's just consistently like you have to open 4 items just to get to like the meat of it. And you're just like, what the heck is this? Like, this is so ineffective versus like with build and battle just displays. You're like, all right, I just open the display and I open the content inside and then like I'm good to go. And then on top of that, you're getting a better price per pack value too.
Yeah, I was.
Do you guys read?
I was opening. Okay. I was opening the lunchbox tins for packs, and I was really disappointed because it had Silver Tempest instead of Lost Origin. That was a bummer.
Which ones were you opening?
Just the newest lunchbox tins. I don't know what they're.
The falls.
Yeah, I guess. But again, it's a metal container.
Yeah.
With trays of plastic propped up inside of it to keep the products like off the bottom of them, and then a tray that holds like the notebook and the stickers and things in it, and then another tray that holds the packs, and then another tray that holds the promos on top. It's like, what? Like, just absolutely, why not just destroy them?
You saw did you ever see the picture that I shared? I've shared it on stream a couple of times. The one where we broke down 1,000 collector's chests.
No, but I can imagine that was absolutely crazy.
Yeah, I'll have to send you the picture after stream. But yeah, dude, it was like our living room was just mounds of just wrappers and tins. And I'm not even kidding you, we still have some of the tins in the garage because we've been trying to slowly donate them to local schools, and like at this point I'm just like, can we just throw this away? Like we've got, they just keep piling up because we just keep ordering more collector's chest, and I'm just totally over it because it's just ridiculous.
I mean, what else can we do?
And we have boxes of dice, coins, stickers, like the play portfolios, like just product, absolute crap that I have zero value for. Online, it has very little to zero value, and I'm like, this is just...
You have to ship it, so yeah, it's just absolutely, there's nothing, even in bulk, you can't do anything with it.
Yeah, it's crazy. So yeah, it's frustrating because I feel like in their mind they're adding so much more value to it, but I feel like you should make them separate. Like, you should make it where you create specific... I mean, they do that though. They have mini portfolios that come with a free pack inside as well. Or not a free, but it's a part of it. You get a mini portfolio and it comes with a pack. Just expand upon that and do like a little bundle. It comes with a pack, a mini portfolio, and like some stickers, and call it a day. Like, you don't need to throw so much junk in. Like, but maybe we're just saying this now because we're so desperate for packs, and we know this is the way we have to get packs at an affordable price, is breaking down all this crap, so it feels worse.
Affordable.
Yeah, affordable, right? I'm like over here like, let's go, I'm buying packs at $280 a piece. It's like, wow. I remember buying it at $230. Like, that 25% price difference makes a big difference. It might not feel like it, but it does, or look like it.
It's it continues to be pretty crazy. Now imagine if they did the Earth a favor and stopped putting so much of those products out, and they moved all those things into nice, efficient booster boxes. Man, that'd be... what a concept.
I mean, it's weird to me because I feel like that was kind of the whole point that they were trying to do with booster bundles, was like, hey,
I love bundles. Bundles are awesome.
Yeah, like that I feel like is what they're trying to do, but they're not printing like any of it. It feels like I remember for Scarlet and Violet base, I was like, all right, I'm going to order 25 cases of these. I got 3. I was like, what? 3?
Well,
that's it? Like,
I hope you didn't expect a lot out of these Probably Evolved.
Oh, I mean, yeah. Well,
I got 1 case of them.
You got 1?
Yes.
What are your ETB numbers, percentage-wise?
50.01%. Yeah. So, and then booster boxes would have been 50. I think that is exactly 55%. Let me see. 56.6666%.
Wow. So you got more booster, dude. Big deal. Big deal.
You know what? I guess that's we take the small wins. But
I mean, to be fair though, Elite Trainer boxes, at least, I don't know if you've been experiencing this, but from an allocations perspective, it consistently has gone down less and less over time. For ETBs.
And I understood with, Scarlet and Violet base, you had the 2 different ones, so that would be, kind of impacting potentially, right? But yeah, just for this one, it seems like should be pretty reasonable to get those back.
Yeah.
To decent numbers.
So.
Well.
So at this point, right? Obviously, we're not talking tinfoil hat crackpot theories, but I mean, do you got any sort of thing you want to just throw out there at this point that you're just like I mean, obviously you made your video, but I don't know.
About what in particular?
Just the product, just not available. Like everyone.
I mean, I can only make so many videos before it's just me whining, and I get comments of me whining about.
I get that.
That there's nothing that exists, so it's just like I don't.
But guys, I don't know when you made your video about the wrapping, was like you were making that seem as if it was playing off as like a joking, but like were you somewhat serious about that, or was there a different take that you're more behind?
Look, I have no evidence when I make tinfoil conspiracies,
You
but
put tinfoil hat
I'd like
on
to
for a
think
reason.
I've been around enough to be able to read into some things that make sense. Sometimes things don't make sense. A lot of things don't make sense, but a little bit of information I can glean, you know, I'll make a little goofy video about. But yeah, I mean I think it's pretty evident that that definitely had something weird to do with it.
Yeah, Echo was the one that told me about the video. He's like, bro, did you watch Mason's most recent video? Everything makes so much sense as to why they're not printing. I was like, what is it about? And he's like, go watch it. And I watched the video, and at the very end, you're like, but what do I know? I'm out here messing around. And I'm like,
Because God forbid
are,
somebody
are
actually takes one of those videos seriously and I get shit about it, you know?
but I feel like though a part of you, okay, how do I want to say this? I feel like what you're saying has some truth to it, but you have to at the end say that it's a joke, or else people are gonna get like offended otherwise.
Correct.
Yeah, like
That's why I do it the way that I do, is so that
yeah,
people leave me alone.
it's crazy. Cause honestly, it's not a bad take. Like I looked at that, and I was like, that actually kind of makes sense if that's something that happens. Because you talk about them saying that they are doing their best and they're in control of it and everything lining up. What is the one thing they're not in control of? It's the product that
The raw materials.
yeah, the raw material. So, and obviously, who knows at this point if it's going to come to fruition, but going back to that PF Football Pete video that on the live on eBay where he said, yeah, we're going to hear some news about Pokemon product supply shortages in
And
early May, and it's like,
let me
all
tell you
right,
right now, if we knew something was going to come out before Paldea evolved, we would already know about it. Because distribution would know about it. Because they'd have to put numbers in. So, guess what? I don't think we're getting anything before Paldea evolved. Not a damn thing. And the fact that is short printed, guys, let me tell you, I don't have high hopes.
I mean, you got to also ask the question too here. I don't know how much weight you want to put on this, but are they potentially doing this because they want to go back to August being the rotation date instead of at the first set of the year?
On the nose there, Eli. Very good. Yes. Absolutely. Yes. None of that stuff's getting reprinted. No E-block is getting reprinted. I'm pretty adamant about. Like, there's a 10% chance that that gets reprinted in my mind. There's just no time. There's no time. They are short printing standard legal sets that are coming out right now. There's no way in hell they're making time to go back and reprint Evolving Skies, Brilliant Stars anymore. Like, all these things. It's not going to happen.
I guess the question is for that is if that is the reason why they're short printing things. That still, I guess, for myself, doesn't explain why they're short printing even the newest sets. Like it'd be one thing if it's like, oh, we got some Brilliant Stars and AR product. There's barely any available, but at least the price dropped from 175 to 144, right? But like in terms of how they evolved in Scarlet and Violet base, you look at the amount that they're printing of this product, and it's so little. So even if they're like, yeah, we're not printing a ton of this older stuff because if you consider a year to be old, right, of this older stuff because we're planning on going back to our regular rotation cycle in August. Okay. Well, then why aren't you at least printing some of the newer stuff a little bit more? Because of the wrappers, obviously. Duh. Got them.
Duh. I don't know, guys. Like, everything's pointing to that we will rotate as normal in August, and everything with the E marker has no potential for being reprinted. They just did Brilliant Stars, which is the first thing in the F block. We'll get Astro Radiance next. If they get any of that at all, they might just skip over that and go straight to Lost Origin, because we need Lost Origin for the meta cards. So
yeah,
everything is lining up to where E block is done. There's there is no potential for any of this to go back at this point. That's my take. That's me. If everything plans and goes the way that I think it is, and all the things are pointing to, but obviously everybody has their own theories. But from me looking at it, reprinting Brilliant Stars, and that being like the first true reprint we've had in a little bit, we're moving on.
Yeah, and it was
Going
like,
forward, not backwards.
yeah, and it was like literally nothing, like so
Well,
small.
we've had Brilliant Stars ETBs for a long time. We've
Yeah,
had
the
Brilliant Stars
ETBs, they gave us a
Boost
decent
boxes were
Yeah.
the things that. And I think that again they do that so they have enough packs to put in all these other boxes and products, so they have all the stuff. But again, look at the products that we have currently now and what is being released now. Even the extra auxiliary like V boxes, collection boxes, all these things. Have you seen any E-Block packs other than Fusion Strike? Fusion Strike is the only thing I've seen. Have you seen anything else?
And this.
I know you open up a lot of products. So
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I mean, it's hard to say because
no Chilling Reign, no Battle Styles, no Evolving Skies. Recently.
For E-Block product. Okay. Well, would you consider spring product E-Block or more fall product? Because spring obviously still has quite a bit. It had some brilliant in it and some like, yeah, but it was mainly brilliant though. That's it though. But that's farther back. I guess if you're talking more like summer or newer product. Yeah, so if I'm thinking about it, we had the Infinite V boxes that had. Well, actually, to be fair, we did have battle style reprints of the battle style Empoleon and Tyranitar tins, and there was 3 different variations. One variation had 3 evolving, 2 brilliant. Another one had 5 brilliant, and then one had 2 evolving, 2 fusion, and 1 brilliant. So there was at least some evolving and fusion in those. I've seen a lot of fusion. So in Virizion and Infinite V-Box decks, I've seen variations of that. Obviously, you've seen like the collection boxes of like the Arceus and such, or the Charizard boxes. I mean, the Charizard boxes, obviously, for the UPCs, which came out literally in October. Those had a ton of different variations of cards. So I guess it really just kind of points to... I mean, there has been, but like, yeah, it's very much one-ofs. And if it isn't a one-of, then it's usually consistently been either evolving or fusion. It's very rarely I see brilliant or chilling.
Well, brilliant Stars is.
Or no, sorry, not brilliant or chilling. Sorry, battle styles and chilling. Chilling. Sorry, that's what I meant to say. The
Again,
older of the,
You see the span of products moving as we get further and further along.
Yeah.
What's right after battle styles? Chilling Reign. Chilling Reign's gone. Chilling Reign, and then what's after Chilling Reign?
Evolving Skies.
And then what? Fusion Strike.
Yeah. Where's my celebrations, dude? What the frick? No.
Hey,
they did have that in Walmart.
I'd take some more celebrations. I'd love to take some more.
They had some of that in Walmart for the longest time. Like, the longest time they had a resupply of it. For the Charizard, the Lance's Charizard, and the Dark Sylveon boxes. They did a resupply in Walmart, and I, like, took a picture of, like, a full-on display that they put in my Walmart here in Arizona. And I'll tell you what, my Walmart in Arizona never has product. So the fact that they had a full display of celebrations, like, whoa.
Yeah.
Like... so much celebrations, and it was available for like a couple of weeks. Like, they replenished it.
Yeah, I want to talk about DigiSmithy TCG says Costco took all the E-Block packs. Yeah, and again, and I've been touting this as like another like post in the sand as far as like we're done with that. Chilling Reign ETBs, Fusion Strike ETBs, and then Evolving Skies ETBs were liquidated to Costco and Sam's Club. Liquidated. Below market. Like, get them out of my warehouse. Get them out. All the more reason to say that those were getting off the books, getting out of there, getting the product cleared.
Yeah.
It just... Why would they reprint Evolving Skies if they literally dumped them back last winter? That doesn't make any sense. It makes no sense to go back and print those. Logically, from a production aspect, no, that ain't happening.
what are your thoughts about following the prices of a lot of what's been going on with Sun and Moon? Like,
Like
have you
the
like tag team, for example,
like the singles or
the sealed
sealed.
product and the singles, both.
I mean, when I was sitting there all those years ago, 4 years at this point, Cosmic Eclipse, I was like, damn.
Cosmic came out in 20 end of 2018 or 2019.
Whew. Oh my
Yeah.
god, that hurts. 5 years now, huh? Almost. Uh, I was looking at these cards and all the things that they were doing. I was like, damn.
It came out
This is
no. Oh my god. I was off by a year. Sorry, not the end of 2018, the end of 2019, dude. It came out November 1st, 2019. This set, what, we're 2023 right now? So 2020, 2021, 2022. This set is like 3.5 years old.
yeah. Yeah. I was sitting there when all this was happening. Celebration or all of Cosmic Eclipse. Right at that pre-release. I was looking at all the cards that were coming out in Cosmic Eclipse. I was looking at all the stuff that had just come out. I was like, damn, this block of cards is gonna be remembered, and like people are be upset that they missed out on this stuff because this shit's hot. Tag teams were fucking awesome, and I think long term, and not even long term, like right now, people are like, damn, those cards were sick, and now they're going back and buying them. That's all this is. It's like people that missed out and thought, tag teams were not crazy, and you're like two Pokemons on a card, two cool Pokemon on a card together, like, and alt arts before alt arts were even a thing. Like, come on, like that's just at the time I was like, damn, this shit is undervalued. Like all the Cosmic Eclipse, like what do they called them at the time? The art with the trainers on them, with Pokemon on them from the Cosmic Eclipse.
Oh, I thought they were
I was
called
like,
character cards.
yeah, character cards. Yeah, thank you. All those things, and then people were like, $1, 50 cents.
Yeah.
I was selling them for $2. I was like, damn, these cards are too awesome to be selling for $2. And even through the run up of all the hype and everything, right? Logan Paul, boom, that stuff was still undervalued. I thought, and now it's finally catching up. I think.
Yeah.
I think we're just now just like seeing those things actually be what they should have been.
Well, I mean, the prices.
That stuff is crazy and
the
cool.
prices on them have actually still started to go. Like they've kind of plateaued. Like they've kind of found their top. I feel like for some of the characters, because the Pikachu secret rare, I remember when it was pushing like $80-$90, and now it's at $40.
Yeah, and I think that's an outlier. That was a card that is definitely like sought after, through the boom, just because of what's on it.
Yeah.
I mean, just as a whole, like those like the Deoxys Espeon and the Darkrai Umbreon cards. Those things are like $3 forever. Dude. Even through the boom. Forever. Those cards are too hot to be that cheap. We should have known.
See if I can find it. It was Unified Mind. So my two of my favorite Pokemon. So my favorite pseudo legendary Giratina Garchomp. And they had the rainbow variation of the Giratina Garchomp, and I was like, whoa, this card is sick. It's only $9. Yeah, I'll buy that. And then I bought it, and I was like, I'll send this into PSA just for fun. I got a 10 on it, and I've just been sitting on it, and it's now selling for almost $40. And I was like, whoa, it's gone up 4 times in value. I mean, the price on that has climbed over the past year too. It just keeps going up on some of these items, and that's the rainbow like variation of that card. I don't even think it got like a alternate or other than the special promo variation. Unified Minds. So I think Unified, they just had the Sableye Tyranitar. Which, have you seen the value of what that's going for right now? Holy crap, dude! What
Gengar Mimikyu, all that stuff. Yep.
Yeah, like that's in.
There's 2 things I said were still undervalued, even up to a year or 2 ago. It was tag teams and fairy type cards. I still think fairy type cards are too cheap. It's the
Why
only
why
time
do you think fairy type in particular?
because they discontinued fairy typing. Like, there's no fairy type cards anymore, so those are like super hot. That's the only way to get fairy type cards. I think there's me driving FOMO, but
Yeah, right.
like fairy typing, like a fairy type Sylveon, a Sylveon with a pink background to it, like all those things that are like, yeah, juice. Look at that. It's an awesome looking card. It's beautiful.
Yeah. I bought this off a collection and sent it in for grading. And I got a 10 and I was like, sick. I love this card.
Yep. But anyways, that's always been my thoughts.
What do you think about the prices for like the Greninja Zoroark and like the Marshadow Machamp? Do you think those are undervalued, being that they're still sub 100?
I mean, the first one, Greninja Zoroark, you said?
Yeah, Greninja Zoroark. So those are
Those
right now
two very popular Pokemon.
TCG
Two
player.
very
They're
popular
going
Pokemon.
for $90.
Yeah. And Froakie's what? Gen 6?
Yeah, Sun and Moon.
Oh, Sun and Moon, Gen 7. Wait, is it?
Gen 7. Yeah. No, you're right. It's Gen 7. Right? Cuz
No.
Gen 5.
Froakie's Gen
No,
5.
no, it's Gen 6. You're right. No,
XY?
it is Gen 6. Yep, it's XY.
Okay.
Yeah. Cuz Gen 7 was the seal Pokemon. I can't remember the name.
Oh, yeah, Poplio. Yeah.
Yeah, Poplio. Yeah.
Anyways, two very popular Pokemon, Zoroark and Greninja. I don't know. It's pretty healthy for what it is. I think it's like, what, 65, 70 right now?
It's 90.
Whew. All right, maybe it's moving.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, again, these cards are no-brainers. Like, looking back, no-brainer to buy that card. That thing was like $7 for a minute. Like $6, $7, $12. I remember, moving that card at when that stuff released. Like, I was like, damn, this card is insane for that price. Yeah.
So here's the question that everyone's gonna want to know in the chat, and they're gonna want to know it from you, Mason.
Yeah, what's up?
Mason, I've missed the boat. These alternate art, they're too expensive.
Yeah.
Do you think that I can find this boat again with Sword and Shield alternate arts?
Alt arts, no. No. No, alt arts are already on their own echelon. It's on their own plateau. There may be some things like, the Haunch Crow alt art or something silly like that. But again, like, all the things that have either popular Pokemon or like have any significance, I think I've already kind of been and seen that kind of play out, just because of the people that were already in the space and Sword and Shield. Like, we've already had people that were like speculating and like grading and like all that stuff, like buying to sell in the future kind of things. So,
what about the like Celebi alt art that's sitting at $30? And for the longest time, it was sitting sub 20.
Yeah, for sure. That's definitely a card that there's still a chance. There's probably some trainer gallery stuff that is probably still undervalued. Like, a lot of trainer gallery stuff that's probably undervalued. I'm talking like the Sleepy Pika trainer gallery. That was in what, Lost Origin? Things like what, $5? Like, come on. Like, that's got the same writing as like the Cosmic Eclipse Pikachu all over it. The same situation that can happen with that card. It can just explode.
Do you put any weight on the population?
Has population ever mattered? To the people that are buying these cards, does population matter? That's what you really got to ask yourself. It's not about whether or not the population is huge or not. It's whether or not the people that want that card, if they care about the population. I don't guarantee you that they do not. It doesn't matter. There could be 10,000 of those graded. There could be 20,000 of those graded. If somebody wants that card, they're going to buy it.
Yeah.
The people that buy these things casually and just like put them on display, like you have in the back of your room, but not you, obviously, the casuals that also have a similar kind of setup, they don't care. Like, when I bought, do you think I love Light Arcanine, one of my favorite cards, Light Arcanine. It's one of my only slabs that I have is Light Arcanine. Do you think I care what the population of this card is? I don't give a shit. This is a badass card. I love this card. I see it as a collectible, as an item that I want to not sell in the future, but just to have because I love it. I don't care what the population is for this card. I love it for what it is. And I think that is the thinking of a lot of people that are out there.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Population does not matter.
I mean,
Not when there's other population matters for some things. For things that have other things going for them, it's less important.
I'm actually curious what the population is for the Pikachu.
There's probably a lot. I mean, I'm sure it was graded a lot.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta wonder what's the. What do you mean an error has occurred? Go frick yourself. It is number 05 of 30.
Mm-hmm.
It is. I'm on PSA right now.
While you're looking, DigiSmithy says Radiant cards undervalued? Question mark. Radiant Greninja
So the
and
fuller,
Alakazam. It's pretty sick. I do love those cards. They look great.
The fuller Pikachu is so the sleepy Pikachu. It's got a little under 2,000.
2,000? That's it? Are you telling me that there's only 2,000 people that want that card graded?
1,935 to be exact, and the current value of PSA is $56.21 is what it's worth.
Do you think there's that many people that want that card graded in some form or fashion? 2,000? 2,000 people? Does it matter? I doubt it.
And then you say 2,000
especially for
plus multiple
7
copies.
Especially times $5. Whatever the raw card is worth.
Yeah,
like,
it's 45 right now.
Like that's an obvious one, if you ask me.
He said Radiant Greninja and Radiant Alakazam feel undervalued.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, Radiant Alakazam is like 60 cents, like something like ridiculously low. Like, what is your downside on that card?
Yeah, it goes to 20 cents.
Right, exactly. I mean, but then you're out.
It goes to zero,
and you have a beautiful card.
Yeah, right. That's it. I'm buying 50 of them. It's confirmed.
I mean,
it's got
people
no
should.
Downside.
Amazing Rares as well.
I mean, the Gengar's pretty sweet too, from Lost Origin.
You got to think of like when also Amazing Rares came out. I'm not telling you like to go buy fucking Amazing Rares. Do not based on what I'm saying. But like, think of the people that have fond memories of Amazing Rares because of the time that they were released and the sets that they came in. Vivid Voltage, people like that. People are gonna want to remember chasing Chunkachu. People are gonna remember those cards. I'm just saying, like, again, think of like the Mania and like people looking back at the Mania like 5 years from now, and what they're gonna be wanting to do, like nostalgia, have on their shelf because it was a cool time for them and their kids, or for them in the hobby, you know, or growing up or whatever.
Dude,
just again, think about that type of stuff when you think about modern things that you can predict of in the future.
I don't know why Amazing Rares scare me so much. I just take a look at the population of these items, and I just get so nervous because the Rayquaza has 7,300 in a 10. Yeah. And I'm like, holy crap, that's so many. That's so many in a 10. But at the same time, it's like, it could not matter in the future, right? It could be, who cares, 7,300? Because in the future, the newest Scarlet Violet set or whatever the set after that or era after that is going to have 20,000 population per card, and everything under 10,000 is going to seem like it's low pop. Like, I mean, it's the way in which things are. I still look at that, I'm like, gosh dang it. But like $33 for a 10, like if you just pick up one, it goes to $100. You just 3x. Like, I don't know. It's tough.
That's for people that want to like think of this as long term, and like you want to like the real like big brain stuff. That's the type of moves that people that are in this hobby for the long term are thinking about. And it's not going to be the things that are low pop. The pop can always explode and go up.
Yeah.
If you want to like get something on for the cheap and just sit on it, you're not going to be picking up a reverse hollow from, I don't know, pick a set, Vivid Voltage. It's not going to be reverse hollow because the pop is low. You know? if you're gonna do anything, you're gonna hit the Charizards, you're gonna hit the specialty cards like the Amazing Rares and stuff like that. And again, it's so low. What Amazing Rares in tens are like $20, 15. I mean, you probably find them 15 in nines and tens. Like, what is the risk?
Yeah.
Can you take that to a show and sell it for 25 just because it's a cool Pokemon on it? Probably. So like, again,
Okay,
like what?
okay, well then here's the question for you then. By that same logic, what's your thought about the Radiant Charizard from Crown Zenith?
I think it definitely deserves to be more expensive than the other Radiant Charizard that looks like a MetaZoo card.
It's selling for $4.86 right now, and the PSA
Yeah.
10 is selling for 57.
I mean, will the PSA 10 go down before it goes up? Probably.
I mean,
but just like that card is also $4
for a shiny Charizard. Isn't that crazy to think? A shiny
really.
Charizard.
The most graded Pokemon card that there is. The Champions Path ETB one.
Yeah.
Like, people want that card. People still look at that card and be like, "Damn, I want that."
It's a sick
I put those on my
art.
TCG player account for like $7. People still buy the crap out of them.
Oh yeah,
multiples at a time.
It's a sick card.
Like,
I own quite a
people
bit of
don't understand like a card that slaps is gonna slap forever. And like, yeah, they're gonna make new versions of these stuff, but like again, think of like people that want to like time capsule and like put like a thing in their collection to like remember the craziness of this boom. People are not just like casuals, but like people that's like that are also like participating in flipping and stuff, and they want to go back and just like a card that has fond memories to them, just like the fond memories that we all have of opening base set or whatever. People that are young enough to do that,
Yeah.
or whatever your set is, like whatever you got in. You said Diamond and Pearl, like I'm sure you have a strong ties and emotional ties to Diamond and Pearl stuff.
I mean,
like,
that's what I'm focusing on chasing right now. I'm watching people be like, Eli, are you gonna buy the newest alternate art of whatever? Like, don't miss out on the opportunity. I think
and
it's
you're like,
cheap.
nah, dog, I'm trying to get these.
And I'm
Diamond
like,
and
bro,
Pearl.
I'm trying to get every reverse holo in a PSA 10 condition right now, and it's kind of hard
Exactly.
to find a 10 reverse holo of Diamond and Pearl. So I'm buying the packs and opening them up just to see if I can get
So,
some.
what do you think those same people that have that same mentality are going to do with all these people that when the hobby 10x of people that were interested in it? That's 10x the times people that are going to be wanting this stuff potentially down the road, because it's again, it scratches that nostalgia itch for them.
No,
like,
1,000%.
Let's not talk about like these $1 to $2 cards are going to explode and be $100 to $200, but just like if you're thinking about making a play, think of like contextually like the time that this hobby has had 2 or 3 years ago.
I guess so what you're saying 100% makes sense, because I preach about that all the time in the hobby. I talk about nostalgia being like one of the driving factors when it comes to things. I guess where it comes for myself, in terms of just looking at cards historically speaking, the population jump between just the X and Y era to the Sun and Moon era was so minimal compared to what it is in Sword and Shield. And although obviously I agree with you, like nostalgia is going to win the day and prices are going to go up over time because people aren't going to give a crap, I do agree with you. I guess my question is, to what extent is it going to gradually increase, and is it going to increase at the same rate? It's kind of like how I look at Bitcoin, right? When Bitcoin went from $3,000 in 2014, and then by 2017 it went all the way up to 20,000, right? If you do the math on that, that's almost a 7x return from the high point of 2014 to the high point of 2017. Then it crashed back down to 3K. And if you trace it back from the high point of 2017 to the high point of 2021, it went all the way up to 69,000 giggity, which is about a 3.5x return. So it had a 50% less return than the previous market run because of the overall scalability that it had to achieve in order for it to grow to that point. And so I almost wonder if that's how it's going to be in this market with, prices are of course going to go up because the demand is going to be there, but it's going to take a lot longer because the supply is just so much greater at this point.
Yes. On top of all that, I'm looking at R in the chat saying that Pop is literally everything for vintage cards. What do you mean? One, this is strictly a modern, and two, this is like if you're looking for places to like follow suit in what just happened. And like again, this type of situation for like again, late sun and moon, like opportunities there that we all missed out on, potentially, right? Apply that same kind of thought process and concept to things now that are cheap, dirt cheap, like literally, like no risk to buy. You got to make smart decisions on which things to buy,
Yeah.
and it's not hard to predict what could potentially do well.
Yeah.
But the things that have the most strong fundamentals to them.
Yeah.
Like Vivid Voltage is an absolute asset. I don't know why people buy it at all, but people have memories of chasing that Chonkachu,
Yeah.
and they still, hey, if I bust one out and open one, damn, that'd be cool, and they think of that. Like,
do you think a Chonkachu for $275 in a 10 is overvalued,
for
or do you think that's undervalued? Sorry,
what's the 10-to-9 ratio?
it's 2x, the amount of 10s in there.
Only 2x. I mean,
so 3,000 10s and 1,500 9s.
Damn, that's a lot of 10s. that's a lot of cards for. But again, that's
the
major
point
hype.
but
the
see,
most
this is
like
what your reaction right there is the exact thing that I have with a lot of these cards.
yeah, and again, like you think of like if we look at our pyramid again, the pinnacle. If you think of like the nostalginess of the hobby, the pinnacle of all this stuff, Chonkachu's right there. Chonkachu's right there. The Charizard from Champion's Path is right there. All those things are hitting all at the same time. Things are going crazy. Again, that's where the opportunity lies. Because somebody that's going to buy that as a casual 5 years from now isn't going to look at the pop report and be like, well, goddamn, there's 5,000 of these. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And you got to remember, like, there's cards that are seen as like investment and like flipping pieces. I would say Moonbron is an example of this and kind of bucks this trend, but like there's cards that people are just going to want to buy because they think they're cool and not because they have insane value or is going to be seen as like investing pieces for the future.
Yeah.
Umbreon is something that is very much people are buying it and flipping into that because of the investable future of that card potentially. Whether or not that happens or not, who knows, right? But
yeah,
compare that to like a card of like to like a Glaceon collector that loves that Glaceon from that set. Why are people that are going to buy that set or buy that card 5 years from now? Is it because the value that it has, or is it because they really love that card and think it's a cool card and they want it in their Glaceon collection?
So then going
That's
back,
where we're. Think of
back,
who you're selling to on a regular basis. Even people that flip now. Think of who 90% of your slabs go to. Is it somebody that's really engaged in the market, or somebody that just really wants that card? Think it's cool.
So then going back to it, do you think that at 275 it's undervalued?
Which card is this? The Pikachu?
Chonkachu, Rainbow Rare Chonkachu, 275 for a 10.
For somebody that needs to have that in their collection, the guy that has all the PSA 10 Pikachus or whatever, for whatever.
Yeah.
I think the amount of people that are going to hold onto that card and keep that in their collection over maybe something else that they have that they feel like they would want to sell before that, I think that's pretty high on the list of things that somebody would want to keep.
I mean, you talk about a jungle first edition, just regular common non-hollow Pikachu. At one point was going for over $1,000.
Right.
Before it went back down to reality, and it went down to 100, and then I think it's climbing again at like 200 or 300.
Which is,
you look at that, and then you look at this card, and you're like,
right. Is the people buying that jungle Pikachu know what the population is?
I mean, that's the thing though, is when
or do they just really want that card?
When I look at the chart of that card, the correlation in price drop is 1-to-1 with the population. The population of that card drastically rose as the card itself was rising to the point of where once it hit like a certain population, it continued to increase. The value of the card continued to decrease. But it was like up in price, and then you see a slow growth, and then as it's nearing the top, you see the population, like the amount that's being graded on a weekly basis, just skyrocket, and then all of a sudden the card crashes. And there's multiple charts like that I've seen, which, it does.
Well, that just mirrors vintage in general, right?
It couldn't be. It could be, you know, just because causation doesn't mean correlation, right? I could be off on that. But when I look at the chart like that, you know, and yes, that is just vintage in general. I mean, the Charizard Unlimited had the exact same chart where the card was selling at one point for like 30K and then it dropped all the way down to 10K. And I have no clue what it's at right now for the 10, but it was going crazy for a little bit there. I can actually check and see what the value is for that card now and see where it's at for Unlimited. Let's see, base set Unlimited. So the Charizard in a 10 condition. Let's select 10. So on an all-time period. So at its highest point, it was selling for $30,000, like I said. And then it dropped all the way down to around $12,000, and it looks like, just according to the charts that I'm looking at, it's just hovering around that price point. The most recent sale actually says it sold for $8,100. I don't know how accurate that is, but it looks like there's some other sales that are around the 12,000 point. But maybe this is, I'm just getting this off of polkadata.io. I don't know if eBay has something else that it could show me that I might be missing, but
Is that for the Zard?
yeah, Charizard Holo Zard. Unlimited PSA 10, because it's been a while since there's been a sale, if I'm correct, of this card. I mean, right now, okay, so here, this helps answer the question. Right now, it's selling, someone says, or best offer for $13,000 right now. So
Okay.
we know it's around that price point. So it's dropped significantly. And in terms of recent sales, I don't even know if I'm gonna find it. I'd honestly be surprised if I found it. Yeah, I'm not finding it on recently sold. So it's been a while. It's been a while since it's sold for around that price point. It's fascinating stuff. The last one, it looks like, sold at a little bit under 12,000. Sold for 11,700 back in October of last year.
And this is for a PSA 10
Charizard Unlimited Unlimited. Charizard Unlimited
Unlimited.
from base set. Yep.
It's only back in October. Uh-huh.
Yep.
Weird.
Here, I can actually share my screen so you can see what I'm looking at. But yeah, so as you can see, the price of it, you know, for the longest time was around that like $1,000-$2,000 price point. Then it just absolutely skyrocketed up to, like, you had multiple different sales, so it wasn't just one sale, it was multiple of around that $30,000 price point, and then 23K, then 19K, then 16, then 15, then boom, 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 and then you look at, I don't really look at this. I think this is just like, I guarantee you, if you go look at that, it's not accurate. I look at more of these prices as accurate. So this is back in 2022, back in, actually it looks like September, not October. So, but yeah, it's
Weird.
yeah, but that's vintage though. That's vintage. That's the market
Well,
vintage house.
I'm looking at TCG Fish, and it says last sold it was April 10th for 10,000.
Of this last year or this year?
As of like 20 days ago. Yeah.
Oh, really? Does it? But can you find that on eBay? Because I can't find that listing on eBay. Oh no, I just found it actually. No, I just found it. $9,900. That's hilarious. I literally just opened eBay and the last place I scrolled to was where it was. So yeah, it's gone down lower. It's actually looks like it's continuing to go down, or it's staying around the floor. Actually, there was one that sold April 29th for is it 150 point? Can you remind me what's the name of the website, and people in the chat can help me with this. That
Oh yeah, you always forget what the name of it is.
every single time, the one that tells me the actual price sold for when you go
I don't know. I never look at those.
for eBay. All right, chat, help me out here. What's the site I go to see actual prices sold on eBay to mark it out? And for those of you guys that
730,
don't know,
340, 7.
130 point. Thank you. 130 point. Every time I was like, when?
That was too high.
Yeah, I always say 150 point. No, not 150 point, 130 point. Okay, so if we go look at the Charizard, and we look at the most recent sale, which this was April 29th, it sold for $8,100. Which on Pokédata, I was on Pokédata, and when I was looking at it, it said $8,100, and I literally said I'm disregarding it because that seems like manipulation and it's going too low. Obviously, we're going to disregard the 5K. Like, there's no freaking way it sold for 5K. And if it did, it's saying that it did so. Yeah, and the time frames are off, though, I will say. Because it sold for $8,100 in April, and they're saying it sold in March. But still, regardless, the fact that it sold for $8,100 in April? I mean, it must have been a week 10, right? Because that's crazy. Like, that feels
I don't know. Like, what are we doing? Or what's the crux of the conversation that we're trying to do?
Well, I mean, the original point of the conversation we were having, obviously, was you had asked the question, do you think the people care or look at the population for the jungle Pikachu? And I said, well, if you look at the charts and the correlation between the pricing and the population, it seems 1-to-1 on them following whatever the population is. And then you said, well, isn't that the same for most cards in like WotC era? And then I said, I think so. Let's go take a look at the Charizard as an example. And then now here we are. But we can move on from the conversation if you want. But
no, I was just trying to understand, like, we were getting in the weeds a little bit. I want to make sure we were.
But yeah, no, I mean that card just continues to go down, and the population of that card, it went up like crazy. The amount of population it went from. Right now, for, I mean, it's not crazy for the 10, but by chance, the 10 is at 453. Like, the population for the 10 is still very, very low when you really think about it. But it's still, like, doubled or tripled. But the population for the 9, 6,695. That's crazy. But anyway, I will digress from that. Dude.
Info asks, it's tinfoil fedora time. I think we've had a couple moments of that already.
We have.
I'm not the greatest at vintage stuff.
No.
I just don't deal with it enough to be on top of it, and I don't know the populations.
Well, I follow the market. I follow the market quite a bit for vintage, but not like as heavily as some of these other people, like SM Pratt, for example. That it's just their bread and butter. Like, I follow modern much more religiously, but I still keep up with it quite a bit because I feel like you can make a lot of predictions of how sets in modern could potentially play off of the past and how it's performed. But yeah, no, my main thing is just, I mean, you know how I am, it's Diamond and Pearl, which if everything goes well, actually I might as well make this announcement now, but this is all speculative. It's all speculative, right? But I potentially, as long as everything checks out legit, which it seems legit, we'll be getting an insane deal on a bunch of Diamond and Pearl era packs. Like, and I'm buying way too many of them. And I'm like, I want to open these. Like, but also, I just dropped $10,000 on Diamond and Pearl packs. I can't just open them and just, like, lose $10,000. I have to do something with them. And I'm currently...
I mean, it is an option. Let's not say that that's not an option, because that definitely is an option.
It is an option. But where I'm going with this is I'm if everything checks out, because I want to verify, I'm looking at doing a break for a bunch of Diamond and Pearl packs and offering them for like really cheap. Like way under market value, just for like fun. So because I was able to snag some Platinum, some Supreme Victors, and some Arceus packs.
Nice.
Yeah, some guy was just trying to offload them. He was like, yeah, I bought this from a buddy a while ago who collected for the longest time, and I put them in a storage unit and just trying to offload them all. And he's like, I was like, what if I buy all of them for you? Will you give me a good deal? And he's like, yes. I'm like, sick. So I might be doing that. I wanna confirm that. But as someone who is a huge Diamond and Pearl collector, I see this as an opportunity to be like, hey, so for those of you guys that didn't get a hit, but you did get a reverse holo, I know you probably don't care about a Jigglypuff reverse holo, but I want every card to 10, so I'll pay you a premium just so I can try and get a 10 in it by sending it off to grading. But do you to kind of change the topic a little bit, do you grade cards quite a bit?
I have been getting into it. I just sent off a sub yesterday because they didn't announce a new specialty for May, so I went ahead and just sent 15. It.
Yeah,
which is fine. That's fine, but I had to be. And they raised the thing up to 20 cards per submission, so that sucks.
Oh, really?
I like to do just little batches of stuff.
Yeah.
I'll just send off like, I would love to just send off like 10 cards at a time, but yeah, it's they moved it up to 20. So I sent some stuff that I really didn't want to send necessarily, or I didn't think it was really they're gonna do well, but it's fine.
Yeah. That's fair. Dude, are you watching the chat right now and what people are talking about?
Yeah.
They're talking about Chipotle. Someone comparing.
This is what happens when we talk about vintage, is that people move on to food and other things. So that's just what
people get bored.
That's just realistically, that's why we only talk about the only newest, hypest, super modern stuff.
All right, Mason. We gotta give the people what they want.
Okay. And what do you think about guacamole prices? Is it valued or overvalued?
Honest, you want my honest to God opinion? People are gonna hate me for this.
I don't care. I mean, it's not gonna hurt me any. So,
dude, this is a hot take. But based on the current market and my current generation, I predict that they are currently undervalued. Because my generation, like Gen Zers, and this freaking avocado toast nonsense. Yeah. These guys are addicted to it. So the demand for avocado and anything, avocado related is just keep going up. And so they're willing to pay. They don't care about the population, bro. They don't care about the population at all. They're going to just buy it up no matter what. That's just how it is. So I think avocados for sure are undervalued. No question about it.
Interesting. Undervalued.
Undervalued. What do you think? You think they're overvalued?
I mean, I think that, first of all, it doesn't have very good long-term potential because it browns really, really quickly. So, first of all, it's not a very good investment. If you're investing in avocado, it's probably not or guacamole, it's not the best because it's going to get brown just immediately. So, you have to, if you're going to hold it long-term, I just don't think there's a lot of chance to get your money back out of it.
Sounds like someone who's into vintage would say. No. We get it. You're an onion guy. I understand.
I do enjoy a good deep fried onion. That's why.
Avocado goes dummy. Join my Patreon where we deep dive avocado.
It's true.
That's so crazy. That's such a fun time.
UAP says, "Nah, hold your avocados."
Hold the line.
Hold the lime.
Oh God!
Let's see.
That's so funny. That's so stupid. Can't believe this is where it's gone into. But
this is where we're at. Look, we've
gone full circle. Well, we did discuss there wasn't really anything to discuss to begin with. I mean, this market is doing what this market is doing.
All right, chat. Here's my distribution deals.
Oh,
Let me know if this is what you guys would pay for these prices.
oh,
A limited 2. I got Fusion Strike booster boxes for 133. Is that a
what?
buy or a pass?
Oh, spicy.
Uh, a limit of 2. Again, Vivid Voltage booster boxes, 140. Is that a buy or a pass? Let me know. Brilliant Stars back in stock for 135.
Dang. At least they're in stock for you. For me, I don't have Maddow.
Can't relate.
No, can't relate. All right, here's the real question now in terms of a
Yeah.
deal. Would you
Let's go.
buy, are you ready for this one? Good deal or not good deal? Would you buy an Infinite V-Box for $75 a case?
How much?
$75 a case. So you're paying basically $12.50 per box and like $3.15
Sure.
a pack, basically. Really? God, I couldn't do that. That's just so much. We got
It is.
we
It
got
is-
Pokemon.
It is a lot.
Yeah, we got Pokemon fall chests, $16 each, 16 each. Nice, good value. 5
Are those the
packs
ones
in
with
there.
the Origin Form Dialga Palkia on it? Is that what those are?
Yes, those ones. Yep, $16 each. Good deal, good deal.
For 5 packs?
For
4
5
packs.
packs, $16 for 5 packs. So you're paying like $3.10 a piece, $3.25 a piece, whatever.
Lit.
Oh, bro, I know what you really want. Why didn't you even ask this to begin with? You want a display of Professor Junipers for 106, obviously. That's
I don't
what
hate
you're
'em.
looking for. You don't hate them or you don't need them?
Oh, for 106?
For 106
For the 4?
for a 4-pack, yeah. So 27 a
Oh.
piece.
No.
No, you don't want them? Come on, dude. Value. I'll ship him to you
Yeah,
right now.
I bought those and lost my butt on them. I'm good.
You did. Oh, that's tough. The new prints, I think, had Evolving Skies in them at least.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. They had one Evolving Skies pack and like 3 Brilliant Stars and like 1 Fusion and a couple other
I mean,
things.
at the rate this is going, that's half your money back right there.
Dude, seriously, with Evolving Skies pack. It is kind of crazy. Then a couple of, V battle decks, trainer toolkits, stadiums. The only Elite Trainer box is Pokemon Go. Nice. I hope everyone wants Pokemon Go Elite Trainer boxes. For
I sell 'em.
$30.90. You do?
I do
There you
sell
go.
them.
You're moving them, baby. Not me. And then the Salizer
Can't
boxes.
relate.
Yeah, can't relate. Salizer box is going for $13.50. Everyone's favorite, the Salizer.
Do we know what's in those?
I think it's just for Scarlet Violet. If I'm correct.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I could be wrong. I think Danny actually opened one.
Oh, that's right. He did. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was. I mean, that's what the image showed, right?
Yes. I
It
think
was
it's
just.
that's right.
Oh, there's a fusion in it. There's 2 fusions. 2 fusions.
Ugh.
What, you don't want the Espeon? Or the Gengar?
I love the Espeon. I love the Espeon. I love the Attack on Titan Espeon. That's my favorite.
Speaking of that, do you think those items are worth what they're worth, or do you think they're undervalued?
The Japanese ones?
No, the English ones.
Of just those alt arts?
Yep, just
Infusion Strike?
Just the Espeon alt art. Yep.
Just Espeon in particular. It's like what?
154.
Whoosh!
Yeah, buddy.
Cool. I do think that they moved that card into Fusion Strike to make that set look better.
1,000%. Oh, 1,000%. Can you
That's not
imagine
even
if that set didn't have
That's
the
not even
Espeon?
tinfoil. That's just like actually
I
factual.
mean, if you took the Espeon out and just had the Gengar and the Mew, that set would just not do good.
Not hot.
I still want to hang my hat up on that Celebi though. I look at that Celebi and I'm like, gosh dang it, such a gorgeous art design, and it feels like it's such a good price too.
I mean, it's fine.
the
It's
raw.
not bad.
Are you just not a fan of the art design or the care about the card? It's like $100 for the 10.
I think Celebi's pretty overrated.
Whoa! That is fighting words. Wow. Celebi's overrated? What?
Definitely. Yeah.
Dang, man, that's tough.
I think we should bump it down from legendary.
Oh, what? I mean,
I think we need to
technically
bump
it
it down.
isn't. It's technically just a mythical. Yeah.
Oh, is it? See,
Yeah. Well, like
that's why I'm
Darkrai.
saying it's overhyped. I didn't even know
Well,
that.
well, Darkrai. So if we're talking about lore, like Darkrai, Cresselia, Celebi, and Jirachi, those are technically not considered legendary. They're considered mythical Pokemon.
Okay.
But I mean, mythicals are
So you just
regarded
named
as
like
legendary.
some banger
They're
Pokemon,
they're
and I don't think Celebi can hang. I don't think Celebi hangs with that crew. I don't think
like
so.
like you look at them and they are more or less considered to be legendaries by most people because of how rare they are, but in terms of actual like lore, they're actually not legendary, they're mythicals. But yeah, because
Yeah.
I was like, because when I talked to people about my art that I had for my design, which has Darkrai, Giratina, and Garchomp, I always was explaining that to people that Darkrai is a mythical. It's technically not considered a legendary, but Giratina is. But yes, Mew is also considered a mythical, technically speaking. So, but Mewtwo's legendary. Quite interesting how that works. So, but yeah, no, I mean that's crazy, man. That you think that you're not the biggest fan of Celebi, but what are you gonna do with
It's
that?
definitely the weakest of all those, for sure.
Okay, what do you think the best is?
Out of that group,
If we were okay, so mythicals, we'll talk about mythicals. So we'll talk about Jirachi, Celebi, Darkrai, Cresselia, Meloetta, Mew. What are other mythicals that I'm missing? I feel like there's some I'm probably missing, but we'll just say of that group.
I mean, Mew is definitely. Oh, Jirachi's super popular too. I feel like Jirachi has a lot of hype behind it, for sure.
People in the comments keep saying you're freaking stoned out of your mind.
I don't know what to tell you guys. The numbers don't support your opinion.
The numbers don't support Celebi being a good.
It's the same people that like love Quaxley. It's like, man, look, the only plush that
Whoa,
I have
that
left
is
of any of
such
those
a
is
freaking
Quaxley.
smear. That's such
So
a
compared to the rest
smear.
of them, Quaxley is weak. Celebi's weak. I'm just telling you. I know I see things sell, and
That's
just can't get behind it.
dude. That's crazy. The freaking comparison saying that people that like Quaxly, the same people that like Celebi. That's crazy comparison.
It's crazy but true, you know.
Oh, Koga's right. Don't forget about his boy Volcanion. Yeah, because I cared about that Pokemon so much.
Yeah,
Everyone's a huge
Volcanion,
fan of Volcanion.
Magearna, all that, huge.
Huge tons of freaking fun mythicals, but keep Quaxly's name. Yeah, right. People are happier on it.
Yeah, it's out of everybody else's mouth too, Retro. So don't worry.
Oh my god.
Nobody's
this
talking
is-
about his ass.
That's crazy. Volcano. Smash that like button. Yeah, don't forget, guys. Make sure to leave a like,
Yeah, what
comment
are
down
we-
below, and subscribe if you.
What are we
enjoyed
doing,
the
Chad?
content.
Come on.
What are we doing? This was fun though. How long
Yeah, I don't
we
even know
been-
how long do you normally go. I don't even know.
Okay, so I just checked the time now. We're actually half an hour over.
Oh, are we? Shit,
Yeah.
I didn't know.
No, we're good though, dude. We can just start wrapping it up here. But you don't do lives that often on your channel, do you?
I just don't have the time. I don't have the setup.
Yeah.
I mean, I do have the setup. We close early on Sundays, so normally that's when I make videos. Like my video time. So we making videos on Sunday, and then I would go live on Sundays. But yeah, it's just not enough time.
Is your
Just not enough
setup
time.
at? I mean, you can do your setup from home like you're doing now. Have you ever thought about just streaming
Yeah,
during
no.
this time?
I like being at the store to do it.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough.
So yeah, this computer sucks for one thing.
It'd be fun
And,
to do a live on your channel one of these days.
Yeah, I've had one person on before on my channel, but I don't normally do a bunch of lives
Who'd you have on?
with other people. I had Clay from Cardboard Empires, who used to have a channel. I used to
Oh,
talk to him a lot. He was another guy that owned LGS. But yeah, I don't have a lot of people on my channel.
fair enough. I mean, you don't technically post pretty consistently anyway. You're like kind of just whenever you have time to post.
What are you trying to say? I try to
You're
do
busy?
once
You're busy?
I try to do once I try to do once a week. Twice a week is like me doing good,
I know.
and that's it's like all I can spare, really, honestly.
Hey, I ain't saying anything wrong with that. You're the one with freaking
Oh my
22K
goodness.
subs.
I mean, yeah. I
I'm
mean,
the one
it's-
over here with my measly like almost 6,000. What the frick is this garbage?
Hey yo, I can get Astral Radiant CTBs. That with Darkrai on it. That's pretty sick. Man, I got some buying to do. We gotta wrap this up. I gotta go.
The fact that they didn't have an altar in Darkrai in Astral is criminal in my opinion. I feel like it's absolutely criminal.
But they didn't have them in what?
They didn't have an altar Darkrai in Astral Radiance.
Oh, yeah, they didn't.
Yeah, I think it's
You got one in
criminal.
Crown Zenith though, in the V Star.
Yeah, but it's not the same though. Like,
Yeah.
and it's funny
He is
too.
he is on the box, right?
Cause,
Like you think you'd be.
yeah, and I predicted that. I literally said people when Crown Zenith
I
came out.
predicted it.
No, I did because it's not like I'm freaking Mr. Crystal Ball guy. You look at what they did with Hidden Fates and how they just cherry picked a lot of the cards out of the set and they just threw it into Hidden Fates, but just gave their shiny variations. I just said, hey, let's go look at some cards that didn't get alternate art variations. It wouldn't surprise me if they just created those alternate art variations in Crown Zenith. And one of those cards I pointed out in particular was Darkrai. I was like, that would not surprise me whatsoever. And oh, lo and behold, they did it. Like, oh, shocker. Because that, I mean, it was there's so many different cards like that, but still, I mean, Astral got gypped because of that, in my opinion.
Well, that just means that Darkrai can get one in the next set that he's in.
I hope so, man. I hope so.
be
We
really-
need more
really
Darkrai
solid.
alternate arts. I love Darkrai, man. The card designs for them.
Out of all those,
Good job.
all those that you said, Darkrai is the top tier.
Dude.
Jirachi, Darkrai.
Oh, love Darkrai. But, well, hey, man, I think I will probably wrap it up here since we are already over by almost 40 minutes now. But it was a blast having you on, man. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you, chat. Thank you, Eli, for having me.
Yeah, it was a
you guys are
blast.
always great to interact with. People that are not just the same yes men that I have in my chat all the time for my lives, but so I appreciate a little bit of harder questions and just hanging out. I appreciate you guys.
Yeah, we have a good time with dude. My chat, like, not to gas them up, but they do a good job at asking questions. Sometimes
Definitely.
they'll put me on the spot, or sometimes they'll just have some really insightful questions. I'll be like, "Dang, I didn't really think about that." So it's always nice to have other people get their brain picks. But
That's right. Chat, keep him honest. Keep him.
Always
Make sure if he screws up even a tiniest amount, call him out in the chat.
call
Us
him
as
a
content
phony.
creators, we love that. We love that.
He's a phony. He's a fake. He's been scamming us this whole time.
Say that he's manipulating the market, that he's holding all the product back, and he's pumping his own stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, right. I'm over here like talking about yesterday's video, and they're like, Eli's saying that this product is gonna be terrible for this upcoming set, and yet he's just trying to manipulate the prices so he can get more for himself. I'm like, that's
true.
It's pretty accurate. I mean, honestly, you nailed me. I've been caught red-handed.
That's right.
Give me more
trying to
Paldea
get-
ball. I looked at allocations. Mason told me allocations. I was like, dude, how do I make the price crash so I can just buy more? Like, what do I got to do at this
Right.
point?
We're only getting so much, so we want to make the prices crash as low as possible. That's right.
Yeah, because
That's-
since we're
that's
getting
what
so
logic-
few, which means we're not going to make as much money, what better way than to make it so that our margins are non-existent so we can
I'm on
get more
board.
of it?
I can. How can I help you manipulate the market?
I need you to post a video for me.
I don't post videos for myself. How am I supposed to post videos for you? Jeez.
Eli's taking me to cause because I said there's a Brilliant Star reprint. I wasn't trying to be mean.
Mm-hmm. Look,
Hey,
the
call
true
me
hero.
out. Hey,
The true hero.
Hey, he.
is
I
Justin.
will. I will give Justin his dap on that one. He was like, hey, he was saying that you were commenting in one of the videos, that one of the lives of like Pokenomics, and was saying how there was some more supply, but whether it's a reprint or resupply, you didn't really care. It was just product coming to the market regardless. And,
I mean, that should be everybody's stance normally. Like,
and I was like, well, I don't know if that's necessarily considered a reprint, but I'll do a couple of phone calls just in case, because I always want to double check my bases on that. And then I made a couple Actually, I got one phone call the morning of. Like, I got a phone call the morning. Hey, we got some Brilliant Stars booster boxes for you, but you gotta get some Battle Academies if you want some. But yeah, I was like, all right, and I literally was like, hey man, I made a video. My video was a Friday video that said, no, there's not reprints. Monday's video was, I'm wrong. There is reprints. So if I'm wrong, I 100% will be calling myself out for it, because I mean, you got to stay honest. You can't
that's
always
right.
swivel.
Keep them honest, Chad. Don't let them get away with it.
Yeah. Can't always got to swivel on it, but
Jeez.
it's a fun time, man. It's a fun time. But well, alrighty,
Thanks,
guys.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, appreciate you all. As always, if you want to enter into our weekly giveaways, make sure you leave a like, comment down below, and subscribe to the YouTube channel.
What was the comment? What's the best thing that you learned?
Yes. What is one of the most insightful things that you have learned from either of our channels? So,
yes.
But yeah.
Let us know.
But yeah. And if you want to check out links down in the description below for my channel. Outside of that, if you want to check out Card and All Gaming, make sure to do so on YouTube. And any other like things you want me to plug for you?
I mean,
you're like, whoa, my channel?
CardinalGaming.com. If
there
you
you
want to
go,
buy singles,
baby.
I got singles on there. I got events coming up that you can come and participate in. Paddle Evolved is right around the corner, so that's going to be a thing that we have to prepare for, and probably want to get those early, just be forewarned about that. But yeah, seems like always something that I'm doing, so I appreciate people that support me.
There you go, baby. You heard it here first, cardinalgaming.com, and check out his YouTube channel. But
yeah,
thank you guys all so much once again. Until then, I will see you all on